And I had flipped a coin earlier, and it looks like we are going to be getting Noobii's game audio for the game today. So racers, be watching the chat. I'll be starting the countdown now. Alrighty everybody, this is Bleed 2 Speedrun. We are in our grand finals of our SABR tournament today. Bleed 2 is a platforming game that has a lot of boss elements to it. It's a short platforming followed up by a lot of boss fights. We're getting right into the game today, and we have Noobii versus Eviona here, two of our best racers. These first stages here are quick little introductions. We're going to be introduced to one of the big key elements here in this small boss fight here called the Shield Invader. If you blinked, you probably already missed it. That's the ability to reflect the pink bullets that get shot out on the screen. You'll see a lot of the reflections. Reflections give our runners great damage boosts and really help us power through some of these bosses here. The next boss we have is the Rolling Invader, which is another intro boss, and this just teaches us the other big component of the Bleed 2 speedrun, which is the fact that we can slow down time. So using those two components, we'll be able to quickly beat this game. In the category we are doing for this tournament is the new game tournament, which we briefly spoke about at the start, and that is the fact that we are stuck with katanas and pistols only. There's another game mode where we get to do, called Freestyle, where we get to unlock additional weapons that really changes the routes and changes out the timing here. The other caveat of New Game is that we have unlimited lives, so we do not have to worry about losing a run to a death, but any damage we take, and anytime we are not actually doing damage, aka dying, we are losing time, so that's never a good thing. So both races are finishing off their first section of Stage 1 real quick. They got about a 2-second delay between the runners and the lag between the two runners here, so we are having a very close race. Like we said last time, the race lasted literally a second and a half, and I believe maybe slightly 2 seconds difference between these two runners in particular here. Our first boss up today, this is the first actual boss of the game, is our Blast Jumper. Blast Jumper has a few different attacks that you can see on the screen here. We want to see as many pink on this, or purple on the screen as possible. Eviona getting a nice combo there, getting 3 purples and 1 yellow bullet there. But Noobii finishes it off, and moving on to the highway first, with Eviona just seconds behind. So the next section here, we get to see one of the prevalent enemies in the game, the kitties. Both of our racers will be trying to make their way, jumping from truck to truck on the highway here, and trying not to get into these cats all over the screen. Eviona's doing a good job of showing off the tech and Noobii of the triple dash. On the third dash, if we angle it down and just graze the ground, we can actually reset our triple dash and continue to dash for much longer than the standard 3. Kitty Chopper is a pretty easy, simple, straightforward boss. We're going to see a few different purple missiles and purple bullets. We want to deflect as much of that back at the Kitty Chopper as possible. Unfortunately, Noobii gets a yellow Kitty Chopper there, unable to deflect. Eviona does get a nice big purple missile. That's the difference between a reflection and a yellow unreflectable attack there. Eviona just picks up about another half second there. So we have a really, really close race. Looks like Eviona is slightly in the lead by about a second right now, moving into the tunnel section of the highway. Tunnel section of the highway gives us our first look at Bleed 1, our Rival. Rival was the main antagonist in Bleed 1, and he is back in Bleed 2. Both runners there. Noobii gets the yellow unreflectable missile, and Eviona gets a laser there, so unfortunately neither one of them can really deflect either of those attacks to get some extra damage out. Both of our runners finishing off. It looks like with the 2-second behind delay on Noobii that he is probably less than 2 seconds trailing behind Eviona right now. And as they go through the final section of Stage 2, they are going to go off to the main antagonist of this game, and that would be Valentine. Valentine has a blue shield around her here. We cannot break that blue shield, well, at least not in New Game. In New Game, we're going to have to rely on a little co-op work with our rival from Bleed 1 to break that shield. This is where the big route changes between New Game and Freestyle. In Freestyle, we have access to weapons, namely the rocket launcher, that can actually break the shield for us. But in New Game now, both of our races here will have to make sure that they can reflect all the attacks that Valentine's going to throw at the rival, so that way there, the rival will be able to shoot their weapon and break that shield. Noobii unfortunately gets the bad RNG to start. Oh, but it actually equals out all the same. So both races have gotten a laser and the 3 cars. The 3 cars is the hardest attack Valentine can throw at us. We have to reflect all 3 of the cars back without letting a single one pass by us. But unfortunately, Noobie's going to get 2 of them. RNG is already being unkind to Noobii. Valentine is taken down on Eviona's screen, just followed briefly by Noobie's. RNG plays a lot of big factor in this game, especially with boss fights. So RNG alone, we expect these 2 races are very, very highly skilled. So RNG could be the factor in our race today. But we'll see if that RNG luck holds out still. We've got about 3-second difference between the 2 races. Next up, we're leaving the highway behind. We're hopping on the rival's whale core here. He's going to take us into the sky, trying to find out that warship that Valentine had arrived on. The racers over here have a small little section where there's not really platforming to it as we're stuck on the whale core. But everybody's favorite cowboy is about to show up. So let's make sure we all give Red Sprite here a big yeehaw! Red Sprite is one of the first enemies that will use a lot of what we like to call the bullet sponges, all those tiny minions on the screen. We don't like to hit those tiny minions, because if we hit those tiny minions, that means our bullets aren't impacting the boss, and that means that it's a reduction in our DPS, and we don't like that. Noobii with a great Red Sprite taking the lead now. The whale core is going to continue to slime into the sky. We're going to have another section here. We're going to have some unmanned drones section here. You'll notice that our runners take a different strat here. Noobii will actually switch to the katanas for bits of this. And actually, Eviona is also going to as well. But our racers know the pattern of those unnamed drones, as they are not random. And we can actually kill those before they even spawn on the screen. Now we're both into the next fight, and this fight is going to be at 2 stages against the enigmatic ninja. We don't know much about the ninja. In fact, we know little to nothing at all. But both of our races are going to quickly put down the ninja with haste. Phase 2 of the ninja, he's going to give us a slightly different thing. Phase 1 is all about reflections. Phase 2, there's 3 different attacks. There's a small audio cue that you can get to let you know which attack the ninja is going to pull out on you. But both of our racers is absolutely wiping the floor with the ninja. We have about a 2-second delay, so yes, both of our races are just one on top of another. This is a very close race, everyone. Now we're on to our final section where we're riding on top of the whale core. I promise you there'll be more platforming here in a second. We're almost at the warship. This little section here, we're going to Noobii using the akimbo pistols there to fire both top and bottom. And now we have a lot of missiles on our screen. Who could be firing these missiles, I wonder? Well, it's Rex Rocket. Rex Rocket is a missile launcher that shoots missiles, both purple and yellow. We want to see those purple missiles so we can reflect it back for maximum damage here. They'll also shoot out some purple or yellow bullets as well. The purple ones will be reflectable, as greatly demonstrated there on Noobie's screen. Both of our racers have the health bars very similar. The big key here is you want to, Noobii and Eviona both do it perfectly. The big key here with Rex Rocket is you want to fire that final shot off to kill him while Ren is at the very bottom of the screen. After the fight, you fall off the screen no matter what, so if you are at the very bottom of the screen when you defeat Rex Rocket, you will save a few fractions of a second there, which can make the difference, especially in a race this close. But both of our races handle it perfectly. Now the races are onto the warship. And on the warship, we get to meet Chef Spammer. Chef Spammer likes the space bills. We haven't decided exactly which space bills are the best here. The Chef Spammer, he may have been a Dr. Mario failed boss. We're not 100% sure, but we're still trying to look more into that about the chaff spammer. And Eviona actually has a great chaff spammer there. Takes back the lead. This race is going back and forth. It's very hard to predict at this point a clear winner. But now we are into our auto-scroller section. This is the only part of the game that's a true auto-scroller here, but being a true auto-scroller, we do have a Bleed 2 little caveat we add to it. This auto-scroller will ramp up in pace the longer we go throughout the level, but if any of our racers take damage on this auto-scroller, the acceleration of the camera would reset to 0, but neither of our racers take damage, so that auto-scroller is not going to slow down at all. Next section of the warship before we get into the Bleed Run re-boss fight. This is a little bit of a boss rush mode here from a lot of the Bleed 1 guys. The first up would be Robo Guppy. Robo Guppy's got some standard, pretty basically what you see, what you get. At one point they will drop down to the ground. Oh, there you go, and then you see the RNG difference there. Noobii got a yellow rolling Robo Guppy, while Eviona was able to reflect those as Eviona's was purple. And that really is a difference in that half second to a second boss fight difference there. Next up is the Robo Gippy and Stu, and as our racers will have to dance with these two birds, as only one will be on the screen at the same time. One being purple and one being yellow, so we want to maximize our damage when it's possible. You see Noobii slowing down time there, trying to make sure you can reflect extra purple bullets up. And Eviona has finished off a Gippy and Stu. Going on to Robo White, the bane of every new game run. Robo White is a tough boss here, as they have that shield that's about 60% of their way around. We cannot actually shoot through that shield with our bullets. If we do space it out correctly, we can switch to katanas to get some damage beyond that shield and onto the core itself. As you see, both of our racers there choosing the stat to get into the katanas to get beyond that shield. In freestyle, we could use rockets in that case to actually do continuous damage to it, but in new game, we do not have those weapons. Next up would be Robo Bunny. Robo Bunny has two different attacks that she can do after these little bullet hell sections here. One is the space pills, a la chaff spammer. The other is she will call down a big car on us, and we don't like that one as much because the car doesn't give us any reflection to do extra damage. But Noobii does actually come back, and it'll be 224. Oof, we've got like less than a second, folks. Less than a second separates our races here, guys. This one is going to be down to the wire. Like I said, there are these two races are some of the best that our community has, and so errors will be very costly if either of them make it. But Noobii and Eviona make it quickly through to the interior of the warship, moving on to the segment slider. Segment slider has a lot of RNG. Segment slider, the key to beating this boss is that orange core that just popped onto the screen there. We need to wait for these segments to slide out, hence the name, and that way there we can get access to that middle core. Eviona gets a nice reflection off the second one. Noobii gets both reflects off of the big purple bullets. Basically what we want to see is those three inner segments. We want those to slide out as soon as possible, because that will actually let us use our pistols on it. Noobii does get the reflection, and both of our races finish it before the third segment. Once again, guys, it's a very, very close. Eviona now moving through the 0G section of the warship. Does take takes a lot of damage there. It's going to lose a little bit of time. That is enough time for Noobii to be right on his heels. These screens look pretty in sync, so we know with the small amount of delay that we have between the two, this is still a very, very close race. Coming up next to our boss here is the Nemesis Core. Nemesis Core here, we just got to avoid those lasers. Sometimes those spikes will come in from the side, and they like to shoot a lot of bullets out of that eye. The key secret here is that middle eye there will flash purple or yellow, indicating what kind of bullets are going to come out of the main core section. So it gives us a little heads up whether we gotta dodge or we gotta get in close so we can reflect as many bullets. Both of our races handled that very well. Moving into Nemesis Core version 2. Nemesis Core version 2 is probably the most erratic boss in all of video games. His movements are very, very peculiar and hard to predict, but our racers are trying to deflect as much of those bombs back on top of it to remove the armor and actually make the boss vulnerable to our attacks. Looks like Noobi's getting a slight lead here with Eviona just behind. We'll have to take a peek here. Let's see here. One of those doors open. We got the doors opening at 14:57, 14:56. So it looks like Eviona might be in the lead by less than half a second. I think we might have a photo finish here, guys. We're moving on to the last platforming section of the game, which is the part before Anti-Battalion. After this, we'll have just three more bosses, and that'll be the first race done. Both of our races look like they are doing pretty good platforming. Noobii looks like he just got a little bit better on his dashes there. Might have made up that half second. Anti-Battalion is a collection of purple balls that like to form up into different forms. The form we most want to see here is a Pac-Man. We'll see that, yes, Noobi's getting a perfect example of a Pac-Man now. Get a little bit of Waka Wakas on there. Pac-Man has two different forms to end, a purple or a yellow variant. He does get the purple variant, so that is some major DPS there for Noobii. Eviona's getting bullets, which is not the best, and to a shark, which is unfortunate. But Noobii will finish off on the next bullet section. Oh, Eviona is also getting more and more bullets. No Pac-Mans. But both races finish off the boss very similar times. Next will be, after taking down the warship here, we're going to be reconnecting briefly with our rival here. He's going to give us a nice little lift to Valentine, the showdown. Valentine will have 5 stages here, and you will see the first intentional death. There is, between the stages 4 and 5, if we intentionally die between the 2 stages, there is a small animation that we can skip that Valentine will do before rising to the 5th phase. First phase here is our bullet sponge phase, where Valentine will call in all of our minions to try to just block as many bullets as possible. Like I said, we want to try to avoid all these minions here. This is the one stage where our health really doesn't matter. We're actually looking to take a few hits here so we can set up that death skip later. So you may see our runners taking some extra hits in this. So both of our races going into phase 2 now. Ooh, unfortunately, Noobii gets 2 yellows followed up by a purple, so only one of those was reflectable. Let's see what Eviona getting 2 purples there, with only 1 yellow. Noobii getting the 2 purples and a yellow on the second Valentine bazooka, and takes down Valentine. Eviona now getting the minion rush, unfortunately. Not getting any more of those bazookas. So this is the 3rd stage here, where Valentine will jump into her teleporting sections. She loves them portals. You'll see the runners stick to one side of the screen here during those laser phases. Valentine will show up randomly on the screen, so if we hang to one side of the screen, we only have to shoot either left or right and adjust for the up and down angles, as opposed to being in the middle screen and possibly having to go all over the place to try to find her before she can shoot out those missiles. Noobii takes down Valentine. Now he's falling off the stage, making sure to set up for this death skip right here. And perfect death skip there from Noobii, basically on the first frame available. Unfortunately, misses the RNG taunt. This last section here, you'll see Valentine back with that classic blue shield around her. We need a taunt and have the crowd, now that they're back on our side, knock out her shield with some tomatoes and some cans, and as Noobii's demonstrating right now, we can actually stun lock her if we taunt appropriately, which Noobii does, and wipes down Valentine. Noobii's about to head back home and play some video games. Eviona also getting in the sunlock and right behind. So we'll have to see here how close our runners are. Looks like we're going to be getting the levels clear at 1907. And on Eviona's screen, looks like we're going to be about 1907. So we got about 6 seconds difference between the 2 races right now. Noobii has pulled ahead. Unfortunately, Noobi's video game session got interrupted by a jealous rival. He's upset that we took all the glory for taking down Valentine. So now we're gonna have to put the rival back in their place, get him to settle down, and come join us in video games later on. First boss up here we have in the form of the rival is the Mantis Core. Mantis Core is a pretty straightforward boss. What we're really looking for here is the Mantis head itself to drop down on top of us and give us a purple reflect for maximum damage. Noobii unfortunately gets the yellow reflect, so cannot reflect that. But takes down Mantis Core super quick. Anyway, Noobii will now be moving into the one small platforming section here. Let's see if we can get a laser skip in here. Rival's back in his whale core. We need to traverse up this building before that laser hits, and that's a laser skip for Noobii. Eviona now setting up for their laser skip. And will Eviona get the laser skip? Eviona does get the laser skip. Whale core is an interesting boss. They like to fly all over the screen, going off the screen a lot. We are looking to take those purple missiles that they shoot out and reflect them back for our bonus damage in this phase. Eviona getting a nice 4 reflect right there. Still could be anyone's race. RNG alone can make the difference between these two, never mind a mistake by either one of the racers. But Noobii does take down the whale core, and Eviona right behind. Little missile's got to unlock the next section of the boss, which would be the climbing core. The spider core. Spider core here, we want to see big old missiles coming out of the main section of the spider core that we can reflect. Like I said, we can only reflect purple. We don't want yellow missiles. Doesn't look like either. Oh, there we go. Noobii gets the purple missile reflect there. Maximum damage. Noobii also employing some of those slash shots. Very hard technique that, if not done correctly, can actually cost you DPS. But if you do it right, you can actually increase your DPS. But both of our races finish off the spider core. Going into the crawling core. Here you guys get to see a brand new strat. I presume I've seen both of these racers use it earlier. But we're going to call this the Heidi Crawler strat. We're actually going to stay to the left of the screen, jumping up when you see the bottom leg move forward. We can land on the ground and reset our jumps. But pretty much, we're just looking to stay in the back, try to do as much damage to the middle core as possible. You see Eviona dashing out to the front to make sure they got the reflection. Unfortunately, Noobii got a yellow attack there, so they were unable to reflect that attack, which really makes a difference between the two races right now. Eviona going into the final stage, the final boss fight. It's the 2 health bar rival fight. Rival fight here, we definitely don't want to see the rival pull out his katana like they're doing for Eviona right now. He will actually reflect our bullets, and we cannot do any damage. Ooh, that's a double yellow start for Eviona. That's not the greatest start. Eviona going for some ping pong there, but it ends up bailing out at the last second. Noobii does go all the way with his tennis match. Oof, this is really close, guys. That health bar looks very, very equal today. Ooh, Eviona gets a great one. We do want to see those purple katanas come out. If we reflect on the purple katana, we are able to knock the rival down to the ground, and he kind of stays still, and Eviona does win their second tennis match. Lets us really do a lot of extra damage when the rival is standing still. And we are down to the wire, guys. Neck and neck. We may have to actually take a second to figure out which racer is going to win. We got a 23-21. Oh my god, everybody! Oh, do we have a 0.6 of a second? Eviona taking the first race. I just want to make sure before I actually do that, but it looks like we have a less than 0.6 of a second between our two races on the first match. Whew! Alrighty, everybody, we're gonna take a quick break, real quick. Let our runners get a quick drink or whatever they need. And we'll be back for race 2, which I guarantee you will probably be just as close as this one. Alrighty everyone, looks like we're all set after that exciting race one. Our races look like they're hovering over the hard, and we are ready to start our next countdown. So we're gonna go 3, 2, 1, and go! Alrighty guys, we're gonna be starting this race all over again. We should be seeing very similar results. I do not expect either of our races to back down in the least coming up to the second race of this evening. We have Noobii and Eviona. Noobii looks like he's got about a 2-second lag again, once again, between the two races. So we'll have to keep that in mind when we're judging the distance. Up first is our buddy, the old shield invader, who we get a nice reflection off of, and we can move on to the next stage. Once again, we're going to be able to see our friend, the rolling invader, next, teaching us how to slow down that time. If you're wondering the time slow, we can only slow down the time from that orange bar right below our health bar there. Once that runs out, it takes a while for it to recharge and allow us to control time once again. Alrighty, the first boss, the mini-boss of this stage, whose name we didn't actually go over the last time, but this is known as the Blast Jumper. Blast Jumper is a interesting boss here. We just pretty much don't want it to fall off and go off to the side of the screen. The biggest time loss for either eraser here, I believe, is if we kill it off screen to the right. Was the rolling invader, I'm sorry, the excuse me, the Blast Jumper there will actually roll to the left to blow up. So if we do blow it up to the right, I believe it's very, very small, but a little bit of a time add-on. Next up is our auto-scroller that's not really an auto-scroller, which is where we're stuck just running down a tunnel in the hallway. Background moves, but we technically don't. This is all a preset. Enemies will spawn and come in the same direction and attack the same way every time we do the race, so luckily there's no RNG for us to worry about here. And now we have our first boss, the Miracore Mark. Unfortunately, Noobii does get a yellow attack there. He cannot deflect that attack. Eviona missing, but does get the actual body itself deflected. Noobii doing a good job there, making it through that minefield, deflecting as many bullets back as possible, with Eviona just seconds behind. Once again, we're ramping up for a nice close race here, everyone. So I hope you all are strapped in at the edge of your seats, because this is going to be a good one. Next up is the Highway. Highway gives us our first look at the kitties! Hope everyone brought some extra tuna for all the kitties. The Highway section here is a good area to really show the runner's platforming skills, as there's a lot of open area and a lot of triple dash that we can link together in this section. The kitty chopper, we're going to be looking for those little purple missiles to deflect back. We don't really like when the kitty chopper goes off the screen, because that means, hey, we can't do damage. But Noobii is going to get a purple chopper reflect, and Eviona does get the purple missile reflect. So both of our races there getting good reflects on the second half of the fight. Noobii finishing off the kitty chopper and continuing along, with Eviona right behind. Now they're moving into the tunnel section, which is a very interesting section. This section gave me a little bit of trouble whenever I play, as those cats that pop up at the top of the screen there were just on a set cycle and will constantly go in. You don't see a lot of them on our runner screens today because they are so fast, but if you're not as fast as one of these runners today, they can cause you all sorts of headaches. The rival making his first appearance. The rival on his semi-core here, trying to stop us from going after Valentine, but we're just going to put the rival in their place real quick and then continue on with this platforming here. Noobii's making good time, great movement throughout this section here. Eviona now moving through as well. Valentine here, we have the blue shield around Valentine, meaning that our pistols and our katanas do 0 damage here. So we have to wait for our friendly rival to help us out with this fight. Once again, if you're watching any of the other freestyle races of Bleed 2, this goes a little differently, as we have rockets at this point that can actually break off those shields, and we don't have to wait for our rival. The rival fight itself is, I'm sorry, the Valentine fight here itself is always going to be 3 cycles, unless we make a mistake. We can kill Valentine by having 3 shots after 3 shots of the rival. So the only way that this fight gets extended is by the fact that we allow the rival's semi-core takes damage and then will not shoot. So that's the only way we can really add time to this fight here. Noobii now just finishing off the Valentine fight with Eviona just trying to break that final section, that final barrier. Now we're gonna have to get the rival to show us one of his little tricks here as the wheels are gonna go bye-bye and we're gonna be into a whale core and take to the sky. Eviona just behind here. This first section here is our minions. We're going to see a lot of these minions coming up on the next boss fight. So I hope everybody is ready to get out a big old yeehaw in chat when the red sprite shows up. Noobii had an excellent red sprite last time. A lot of deflections, maximum damage. And yeehaw! We got a red sprite on our screen. Once again, with our red sprite here, we want to try to not actually attack all the minions, the bullet sponges as we like to call them, that are on this flying around on the screen there. Since those mean if we're hitting a minion, we're not hitting the red sprite, so it's very true with most of the bosses here, especially some of the later bosses such as the Shaft Spammer. Eviona finishes off the red sprite and continues to climb ever so closer to that warship. Noobii now doing excellent display of knowing exactly when the enemies are going to spawn in and pretty much getting a shot off before they're even on the screen. Next up, we have the Eviona Ninja. The first phase, which we really didn't get to talk about last time, as our runners are going so fast, is all about reflections. There's going to be 2 different attacks that ninjas will give us here, and that is the purple is Slash, which we can deflect, and then the yellow Thunderbolt, which we just have to kind of avoid. They'll continue to use that yellow Thunderbolt in the dash into the next section, but they'll also go for a straight dash as perfectly described there on Noobii's screen. Noobii slows down time, gets out of the way, and continues to do damage. Eviona using the katana strats. If we try to use a pistol shot here against Sage 2 Ninja, they will reflect that back at us, which can also cause us to deal damage as well. Now we're moving on to the next stage. We're trying to get ever so closer to that warship so we can get on there and take it down. We need to stay on the whale core here. Noobii is doing a good job of dodging all the bullets and using the akimbo pistols, while Eviona is keeping with the pistol katana combo and just deflecting the purple ones back. Missile showing up on the screen and taking down whale core. Looks like it's time for a Rex Rocket fight. Rex Rocket has a few different attacks here. Just about 2 different attacks actually. We have the bullets that he can shoot out, which can come in the purple or the yellow variant. Once again, all purple bullets can be reflectable. And you will also do the missile there. We did see Noobii not actually make it to the bottom of the screen there. We'll have to see if Eviona can make up some time by defeating Rex Rocket as closest to the bottom of the screen as possible, as Ren will fall off the screen at this fight. And Eviona does. Eviona is a nice finish to Rex Rocket there. Could be making up a little bit less than a second there with that kill. But Noobii is taking off onto the warship, making their way through everybody's favorite pill pusher, the Shaft Spammer. Shaft Spammer loves these space bills. We don't like these space bills here. We say no to drugs here in the Bleed 2 community. We are looking to actually use katana wipes to knock out all those space pills that the Shaft Spammer will shoot out. The space pills do a really, really great job of just being the worst bullet sponges in the game. There's so many of them, we have to chop through them with our katanas. But Noobii makes short work of it here. Eviona also onto the Shaft Spammer there, trying to do as much damage to Shaft Spammer himself versus the space bills that they shoot out on the screen. And now we're into our auto-scroller, our true traditional auto-scroller here. Our auto-scroller here, like we talked about last time, the auto-scroller's camera will accelerate as the level progresses, but if either of our races take any damage, that camera scroll speed will actually reset, and it is a huge time loss here. But Noobii makes it through without any damage and any slowing. Eviona doing a last-second dash there to avoid some damage, and looks like they're going to get through the auto-scroll with no problem as well. Noobii now onto the Bleed 1 boss rush mode. First up will be Robo-Guppy. Robo-Guppy, like I said last time, it's got about 2 attacks that they can do. They'll spawn out those little cores to shoot bullets at us, and they'll also try to drop directly down on top of us like that. Ooh, Noobii does get a yellow reflect after the drop. They can be yellow or purple on that reflect. We really want to see our racers get those purple reflects. Save as much time as possible. Both racers get the yellow reflex, so at least RNG is being equal right now on the Robo-Guppy. So after the Robo-Guppy now, we have Gippy and Stew. Gippy and Stew is a great little dance here that they do. Runners are going to try to reflect as much from Gippy, who's shooting the purple bullets. I hope Jackets, I got that right. He informed me the other day which was which. And we see Eviona just going above the 2 there, not getting any deflects in. That will be a slight time loss compared to Noobii's route. Next up is the bane of the new game, Robo-White. Robo-White has a shield that covers pretty much about 60% of its body. It will rotate that shield around constantly. You do notice that Noobii chose to not reflect there. We could reflect the shield directly back at, get a nice spike of damage, but in testing we've found that if you actually don't reflect that back and just do as much damage, the core will stay outside of the shield for longer, and we can actually, if you are able to maximize your DPS, do more damage than a standard reflect would do there. Robo Bunny now will be giving Noobii a nice start to their fight. Ooh, a double space build here. That's 2 reflectables there for Noobii. Eviona finishing it off Robo-White as Noobii finishes off Robo-Bunny. Oh, I'm sorry, Jackets. I knew I was going to mess that up. Noobii finishing it off his warship, going to the interior parts of the warship now, as Eviona is handling Robo-Bunny pretty well. Next section here is Noobie's just going to try to make his way as quickly as possible to the segments ladder, as Eviona finishes off Robo-Bunny. Segment slider here, like I said, we have these orange core that comes in. You'll see Noobii there is able to actually, with the katana, we can do some damage even if none of the segments have slid out yet, by switching to katana there, and gets 2 great deflects right into the core. We want to see one of those three middle interior segments slide over first, because that'll allow us to actually do damage, the most damage to the core the quickest. And Noobii finishes it off as Eviona is starting off the fight. Noobii has a nice lead right now, but one mistake can totally change the face of this race. Noobii platforming into Nemesis Core 1 while the segment slider is just about to fall. Yes, no more extra segments for Eviona. Noobii getting a nice deflection there on the spike pit. Ooh, a lot of yellow bullets to start out that fight. Fortunately, the yellow bullets pull Noobii down to avoid them, so once the purple attacks come afterwards, you just can't get that full deflect. That last deflect there from Noobii is going to send Nemesis Core into Phase 2. Nemesis Core Phase 2 is an armored opponent. Those little spheres around it will stop our bullets from actually doing any damage. So we're going to have to use some of its own attacks against it. Noobii getting 2 reflections in there, breaking off that outer shell, slowing down time, just making sure the maximum DPS is applied. Eviona is working on Nemesis Core version 1. And just about finishing it off, getting ready to go into section 2 here. Noobii breaking open Nemesis Core for the second time, just finishes it up. No more cycles on that boss for Noobii. And Noobii's going off into the 0G section of our game. As Eviona gets super close, trying to get as much damage as soon as those bombs go off, and the Nemesis Core version 2 is exposed. Gets a great reflect there. Noobii is traversing through the... I'm sorry, that's not the 0G section yet. That's the section that's like a roller coaster, as we have the screen shaking and tilting, and we just gotta path our way straight through as quick as possible. Right into Anti-Battalion. Anti-Battalion is got a lot of different forms we can see. What we're really looking for here is those Pac-Mans. Unfortunately, Noobii gets the bullets first. Looking like he's going to get the deflect on every bullet there, which is very good. Followed up by a Shark. Shark's probably about one in the middling of the forms that we can see. Pac-Man, that's our favorite form there. Pac-Man, and then followed by a Saw is probably the most DPS forms that Anti-Battalion can take with us. Oh, it's a Pac-Man with a purple reflect at the end. That is a lot of damage. Eviona working on starting off their Anti-Battalion fight. Getting a bullet to start. See if Eviona can get all those deflections as Noobii finishes off Anti-Battalion. Does get all the deflections. No damage lost there. Followed up by a Saw. Good amount of damage there, getting Anti-Battalion down. Ooh, a Saw, and then into a Pac-Man. Let's see if Eviona can get... Unfortunately, Eviona does get the yellow end of the Pac-Man, which is a non-reflectable attack. Interesting note, though, this game does have multiple different characters if you are playing this game. And one of the characters is the Rival. And the Rival, the big change from him is you can reflect yellow, but you can't reflect purple. So it's a nice duality there between the Rival and Ren. Noobii now getting ready to start off his stage, 4-stage fight against Valentine. First stage here, you'll see Valentine using the crowd and trying to have the crowd throw their tomatoes and everything. The crowd's still on her side. They're disappointed in Ren for not taking action sooner. The first stage of Valentine, she's going to be calling on a lot of bullet sponges or minions to fill up that screen and make sure that Ren cannot do damage to Valentine herself. Noobii finishing off that section just as Eviona starts it up. The second section here. Ooh, that is a lot of blue nets there. Ooh, Valentine is not playing nice for Noobii. Noobii's doing a great job of avoiding all those minions there. Oh, and a double yellow bazooka. RNG has just turned on Noobii, but Noobii is determined not to let it affect his game. Eviona now starting up on the second stage here. Let's see if Eviona gets any better runs. And it's Noobii setting up into the teleportation, slowing down time, making sure that when Valentine's going horizontally across the screen, they can just apply as much DPS as possible. And once again on this stage here, Valentine will shoot out those lasers. You'll see our runners try to stick to one side of the screen or the other, and we'll only have to move up and down. Now you see Noobii running off the screen here, setting up the death gap between these two next phases of Valentine. Gets a nice perfect death skip there. We have to wait for Valentine to just begin to rise. If you do that like a frame early, it's usually a pretty generous window, but if you try to go super early, there is a chance that you'll have to fight the old phase, the previous phase over again. Noobii now demonstrating the taunt lock here. We have now won the crowd over our side. We're using the crowd in our taunts. We taunt, the crowd throws out some cans and breaks apart that blue barrier. And Noobii did a great demonstration of just locking that down, not allowing Valentine to move at all during that fight. Eviona now just waiting for their moment to taunt, and let's see if Eviona can get that taunt locked down. There's the first one, and continues the stun lock. One more taunt in here, and that's a full stun lock for Eviona. Both of our racers will be heading to the epilogue of the showdown with the Rival. Rival's still upset that we take all the credit for taking down Valentine, and he's going to try to show the world who's boss, and unfortunately, he is going to do that, but Ren's the boss. That's the only catch there. First fight up is the Mantis Core here. Mantis Core has some pretty standard attacks. You'll see those Blaze come chomping in towards you, shoot out some bullets from his mouth, and there's the third attack right there where he drops his face right down on us. Unfortunately, we want to see Mantis Core glowing purple in that instance, for then we could reflect it. But unfortunately, Noobii gets the yellow. But finishes off the Mantis Core and getting ready to move on to the last small little section there. Eviona is now working on the Mantis Core section. We'll see if Eviona does also get the yellow reflex, so unfortunately it doesn't look like there's going to be any time saves there for Eviona. Noobii passing through the laser skip super quick, and moving on to the Whale Core themselves. Whale Core likes to fly all over the screen here. We want to reflect those purple missiles right back at it. He'll be doing a great job. I believe he did not miss a single purple missile in that section there. Eviona going for their laser skip now. And avoids all those bombs and finishes off Whale Core. Noobii now waiting for that missile to unlock the next section into the Spidey Core. Eviona working on the Whale Core. Looking for those purple missiles to deflect back at him. And Noobii now starts their fight off with the Spider Core. Spider Core here giving Noobii a beautiful purple missile to reflect right back at it to start the fight. As Eviona finishes off Whale Core. Got about half of the boss's health bar away. Oh, a double missile there for Noobii. Ooh, that's some really great RNG on the Spidey Core. It's going to be moving down underground to go against the Crawler Core. And Eviona is now working on the Spider Core. Let's see if Eviona can get the RNG. Noobii employing the hiding crawler strat there. Noobii staying to the left of the screen. Barely even see the bolts coming out of the guns on Noobii's screen. The key trick to this trick is you can only hit the ground when the crawler's bottom leg is stepping forward. And the crawler does have two different speed forms, and if the crawler decides to speed up like it did for a moment there on Noobii's screen, it is very hard to judge that timing window of how much time you have to actually land on the ground and go. Eviona now, the creator of this strat, employing it themselves. Doing a good job. Unfortunately gets a yellow body there, so we cannot reflect that attack. Swapping out to the front since the crawling core did clear out a lot of that, as Noobii starts off his two health bar rival boss fight. Rival boss has a yellow health bar and a red health bar. Pretty much on this thing here, we do not want to see what you're seeing on Noobii's screen right now, and that's that rival pulling out that katana. We do like the big missiles though, as the rival stands still while he calls down that big missiles, giving a nice easy target for us. Noobii gets that first health bar done as Eviona starts off their fight against the rival. Noobii going into tennis and smokes the rival there in that tennis match, with Eviona doing a tennis match as well. Rival needs to pick a new sport. I don't think tennis is his sport. Noobii now just getting ready to finish off this fight here. Just a little bit more of a health here. Another missile there, and that should be it for Noobii. Eviona going back to tennis and beating them. And we got a time of 23:11 for Noobii. Looks like race number 2 is going to go to Noobii, with Eviona finishing up slightly behind. Unfortunately, more sword attacks there from the rival. And Eviona is going to be finishing with a time of 23:34. So about 23 seconds there between our two runners. Let's get some of that music back up and going for our intermission. We're gonna give Noobii the victory here. Alrighty, guys. We're gonna take another quick little break here, give our runners a quick second to get set for the next race. So, just in case anyone was wondering while we are waiting for this to go, if Noobii does win race number 3, that means we will be going into a second set of best of 3 races, as Eviona, right now in the Double-Elimination Tournament, has yet to lose a match. So if Eviona does lose here, we'll clear the board, we'll do raid again, best of 3, just like you're seeing right now, and we'll reset the Sundays, and we'll do it all over once again. If Eviona does pull out in the race 3, that will be Noobii's second loss of the tournament, and that will make Eviona the Grand Champion. But we're going to take a quick little break here, and we will be right back. already. Looks like our racers are hovering over the hard. Looks like they're... Yep, we got both confirmation on both runners here. So let's get the chat popped up and we can get our countdown started. Thank you, Sin. And we're gonna go with 3, 2, 1, and go! Alrighty guys, we're into game 3 here of our race. As I was describing earlier, so in the event that Noobii does win this third race here, we'll be going to another set of best of 3 races to determine our grand finalists, as Eviona has not lost a race this tournament, so in the double elimination format, we need to beat Eviona twice. So the first up here is our quickly shield invader boss that's already gone and off the screen quicker than I could even talk about. The next boss up here is our rolling invader, which will teach us how to slow down time like we see just in very few instances throughout the run. Both of our racers finishing off super quick. We have a nice near sync in our racers, especially with our timers here. It looks like we should be seeing Noobii ahead by about a second as far as lag goes. So we'll see how that results further down the line. The last jumper that we are facing here is the same that we've seen a few times now. Noobii doing a good job of getting all those deflections in and finishing it off. Eviona getting the kill before the last jumper can jump off the screen on us. Next, moving into the non-auto-scroller, auto-scroller part of the level right before the highway. This section here is not RNG. All these enemies will come on the screen in the same order, in the same way, every time you play the game. Noobii now getting a little peek in the background there of our first true boss of the game, the Mirror Core Mark II. Mirror Core Mark II will shoot bullets at us. It'll try to use its body against us. A few different attacks. Eviona there getting a nice reflection on the body of the last jumper. The Mirror Core. Fortunately, it doesn't look like Noobie's going to get that same RNG, but he's going to try to finish off. Oh, Eviona getting 2. This is going to make that a very, very close race. That's a good example of the boss RNG found in this game. The bosses can give us any number of attacks in any set order. Normally, you don't see the same attack back-to-back, as it has a lower RNG chance of happening. But there are a few instances where that may happen. Now we're on to the highway, where we're going to be platforming between trucks, cars, vans, anything we can get. We're trying to make our way to the head of the highway, where Valentine, the main antagonist of the game, is for the first encounter. But before we can get there, we have to deal with this kitty chopper. Kitty chopper here will shoot missiles at us. We'll try to use the helicopter itself, as you saw an EV on the screen there. We really want to deflect as many missiles as we can, or the bullets as you're seeing on EV on the screen. Unfortunately, Noobii, yes. Noobii got a yellow helicopter there, but he slowed down time to keep that helicopter on the screen, maximizing the damage, and actually killing the kitty chopper before they got to leave the screen. Both of our runners are basically in sync at this point. Looks like Eviona is just slightly ahead, I'd say, by even maybe less than half of a second. It's very tough. There is a small stream delay between the two of the races, so it is very difficult to judge, to see exactly who is on the lead. Ooh, Noobii gets a nice purple missile there that he can deflect back in. That is a big damage boost for him. Eviona now just trying to dodge and do as much damage to the semi-core as possible. And Noobii finishes off the semi-core and moving on to the final part of the stage, a small platforming section before we face off against Valentine. Valentine's going to be coming into this fight with the blue barrier. The blue barrier is impervious and it will deflect all of our katana slashes and our pistol shots. So we're going to need a little help from our old buddy, the rival. The rival here has its semi-core, which will lock on to Valentine and shoot some missiles out for us, breaking that shield, allowing us to do damage to the boss. And rival appears on screen. Now our runners will do their best job of making sure they can protect that semi-core. If any damage goes to that semi-core, the semi-core will not fire and will not break Valentine's barrier there. Noobii getting the 3 car, that's the least, it's the hardest of Valentine's attacks to deflect, but Noobii handles it perfectly and takes down the next section. Need one more attack here from the rival's car for Noobii, and that'll be it for the Valentine fight. And Eviona the same. Just passing by, making sure there's no damage there, knocking down that barrier, and taking out Valentine. Looks like we got about a 524 clear, and a 527 clear for Eviona. Looks like Eviona is trailing just by about 3 seconds, maybe even a little less than that. Quick little intermission there. That's a little Plucky that we get to see there. Plucky's a playable character once you've beaten the game. Plucky is a difficult character. I would like to see somebody race with Rin versus Plucky and win. Maybe that's how we can get me to race a game. We get one of these good racers here to play as Plucky and I get to play as Rin. But Whalecore here is going to take to the sky. We're going to be heading towards our favorite cowboy. That would be the red sprite. So everybody get ready for those yeehaws in chat. Don't let me be the only one. Yeehaw! We got a red sprite on the screen for Noobii. Noobie's going to try to do their best to avoid all the bullet sponge minions on the screen here. And try to do as much damage to red sprite herself. And Noobii getting a quick kill there on the red sprite, as Eviona's right behind getting that kill as well. Once the red sprite is done here, we get a good example of enemies you probably won't see on Noobie's screen, as he does a good job of killing them pretty much before they spawn. Eviona also doing the same. These are little drone attacks here. They'll come in the same pattern every time we race this. So our racers are very well knowledgeable and know exactly where these drones are coming in before they even appear. Noobii now moving on to phase 1 of the ninja. Mystery ninja here. We're looking just to reflect a couple of attacks from the ninja and move into phase 2. Phase 2, it'll do the reflect. There's also a little yellow thunderbolt that they'll throw out. And a sword slash, which is neither red nor yellow. Purple nor yellow, so we just pretty much have to avoid those. During stage 2 here, we can't really use our pistols, as the ninja will deflect those, so you'll see some of our runners have switched to katanas during that time to try to get a little extra damage in between the ninja's attacks. Noobii now going for the tried and true Akimbo strats here in the second part of the Whalecore phase as they're heading towards the warship. Eviona also sticking with the katana and pistols, opting to reflect the purple bullets. And Noobii finishes off his section as the missiles come in, take out the Whalecore, and now we're doing a little bit of missile hopping right into Rex Rocket. Rex Rocket will shoot either missiles that are green that we just want to avoid. We want to see these purple missiles here, as you see on Noobie's screen, getting both of those deflections back at Rex Rocket, doing a lot of damage there. The other big caveat with Rex Rocket is once we deal the final blow to Rex Rocket, we want to be as low in the screen as possible, as Noobii demonstrated there. Beautiful Rex Rocket kill there. Ren will fall off the screen after this fight, so if we can position ourselves just right, and Eviona does it as well. Both of our racers here get a good, clean Rex kill and a quick transition into the level clear screen. Noobii now working his way through the warship, trying to make their way through to the Chaff Spammer here. Chaff Spammer is a fan of space pills. We're going to see a lot of these space pills on the screen. Maybe not. Noobii switching over to those katanas, wrecking all the space pills as the Chaff Spammer shoots them out. So Chaff Spammer is going to cheat here a little bit and call in some space pills that aren't technically on the screen, but that's alright. He's had a rough life. He never got into Dr. Mario like he wanted to, so we'll let him cheat a little bit. Noobii finishing it off the Chaff Spammer, as Eviona is now already below half health on the Chaff Spammer, gets a double reflection there and moves on to the auto scroller. Our auto-scroller, as you remember, is a auto-scroller that the camera speed will ramp up the longer we're into the auto-scroller here. But if either of our racers take any damage here, that auto-scroller acceleration will reset to the original speed value, which is much slower, and we'll have to wait for it to ramp back up again. But Noobii does it nice and clean, takes no damage there. Eviona right behind him, taking no damage there in the auto-scroller section. Now as the warship falls apart, we'll see a little more space debris come flying on the screens here, but Noobie's going to stay low, staying close to the floor of the level, making it through nice without any issues there. Eviona, nice little last jump there to avoid that yellow bullet. Both of our races are entering into the boss rush mode. These are all Bleed 1 bosses that we get to revisit. Noobii getting a nice start to his fight there. The Robo Guppy will drop down on top of us and roll towards us, and when it does, it can be yellow or purple. Eviona got a first drop purple as well. And Noobii finishes off Robo Guppy, now starting up with Robo Gippy and Stew. And to correct my earlier mistake, it is Robo Stew that we like, because Robo Stew shoots out those purple bullets that we are able to reflect. But Noobie's doing his Dance of the Worms, trying his best to reflect as many of those purple bullets back at them as possible, while not taking damage, obviously. But it is a nice little dance here that our run-ins do. And Noobii is going to finish off the twins, as Eviona is just about to do it. Maybe one more pass on the purple here. Yes, finished off. Now on to Robo White, the bane of all new games. Noobii getting a good start there. Gets the shield thrown out. Gets as much damage as possible while the core of Robo White is outside of that shield that blocks our pistol shots. Noobii, you'll also see switching over to the katanas there, trying to get some damage through the shield, pass beyond. Eviona right behind now. I noticed Eviona had a little bit longer of a Robo White fight last time, but this time Eviona takes no time dealing with Robo White. Noobii and Eviona now based on to Robo Bunny. Robo Bunny's got two different attacks between the bullet hell sections of our phases. She'll shoot some space bills out of us, or she'll drop a power on us like you see in Eviona's screen there. We like the space bills because the last space bill we can actually deflect, but unfortunately the cars are a no-go on our deflection there. Both of our runners finishing it off there. Looks like 12-14, 12-13-ish for Noobii when that pops open, and we're looking at 12-19. So we're looking at about a 6-second differential between our two races right here. Still anyone's races. 6 seconds is enough for RNG alone. Neither racer could make an error, and we could still see the lead change. So we'll have to keep both sides out on RNG and see if they're going to be kind to our races. Noobii now heading into the segment slider section. The old name for this boss used to be the Fingers boss, as the segments do kind of look like fingers. And Noobii getting a good start there, getting those center segments to slide out. We want the center segments to slide out as fast as possible, as once the center segments are sliding out, we can actually do damage to the core itself. You'll also see us runners switching to the katanas here when there is no segments out, as the katanas can get a little bit of damage in even with all segments in place. Ooh, Eviona just barely does not get that kill before the segment slider finished rolling off the screen and resetting. But Eviona is still right behind Noobii here. Now they're into the 0G sections of the race. They're moving into the Nemesis score fight. This is going to be a two-part fight. First part here is pretty straightforward. The core of the Nemesis himself will flash yellow or purple, indicating what kind of bullets they're going to shoot out. They can shoot out some of those bombs. They can switch to lasers, which we don't like, as we see here on Noobii's screen, because we can't deflect that stuff. And we can also see the sides of the stage, just like that. Thank you, RNG on Noobii, for demonstrating all the different attacks for me there, as I was saying them. Eviona working on Nemesis Core version 1. And just about finishing it up. Gets a nice finish to that fight, getting all those reflections in. Nemesis Core here too, version 2 here, has armor all around its outer shell, so we have to either wait for it to try to slam into us, like you saw on Noobii's screen, and those slams can be either purple or yellow. Purple meaning we can deflect it and break open the armor. Eviona is doing a good job here of trying their best to get those bullets right on top of it. The bombs that the Nemesis core drops will actually break its own armor as well. Noobii finishes off the Nemesis core and moving on to the final platforming stage before Anti-Battalion. Eviona also finishing it off the Nemesis core too. Noobii getting a great platforming section and done here. This is always one of the tougher platforming sections as the screen will rock back and forth. And the globs of goo there that you see on the screen will rock back and forth with the ship too. So if you're very fast, you have a nice clear window to do it, but if you slow down at all, this section can get really hairy. Noobii starting off his battle against the Anti-Battalion, gets a Shark to start off. Shark's not terrible, we don't gripe over Shark, but we don't prefer to see Shark. We really want to see those Pac-Mans come out. Bullets, let's see if Noobii gets all of his deflections in, and he does. Eviona also starting out with a shark on their Anti-Battalion section. Noobii getting a little bit of purple rain here. Fortunately, not one of the best RNG setups that we can see. And Noobii now following that up with a saw. Maybe one more transition, and it looks like Noobii will be able to finish off Anti-Battalion. Looks like Eviona is about one transition behind that, maybe two. And Eviona getting all those reflections in there. Yep, one more. Should be able to finish it off with the Shark here. And Eviona does finish off Anti-Battalion and moving on to the showdown. Noobii falling now, getting caught by the Whale Core. Rival helping us out again. Valentine and the Rivals RNG is probably some of the most varied throughout the run. There's a lot of time you can save here with good RNG against these last two boss fights. Noobii now arriving on the Whale Core to the showdown, while Eviona is still in flight. First section here, we'll see Valentine calling in all of these bullet sponges. Ooh, Noobii gets a great RNG there. Only about 2 enemies actually blocked his path there to Valentine. Eviona also starting off the fight now. Eviona gets a very similar pattern on that first wave there. Only a couple of minions, bullet sponges, going on the screen blocking those. You'll also notice that during these phases here, you'll see our runners maybe play a little more dangerously. They're looking to take damage here. They're looking to set up a quick little animation skip before the last phase of this boss. So taking damage during these fights is actually pretty much a pretty good thing. But there is a good amount of time in between the 2 stages where we can't activate the death skip yet, so there is enough time that even if you were healthy, you would be able to jump off the stage doing enough damage to you to still get the skip. Noobii now staying to the left-hand side of the stage while Valentine is going for those lasers, trying to minimize his angles that he has to do to knock her out before she'll move on to the next stage. Eviona now also in the same stage. Got about half of that boss's health bar between our 2 races right now. And now you see Eviona do that same strat, trying to stay to one side while they go to the lasers. And Eviona gets the kill. Eviona's going to start... Noobii gets the kill. Noobii is going to now start jumping off the stage. Going to wait until he sees Valentine just about to rise. That was probably Noobie's slowest death skip. The other 2 death skips he's done previously have been literally as Valentine has started taking flight. But it's also it's a very risky strat to try to do on frame 1. If you do go too early, you will be stuck doing the previous phase of Valentine. And that's not a death skip at all, that's a death extension. But Noobii gets the trash stun lock. Valentine's final stage, not being able to move at all is what we like to see. Eviona now looking to get their lock going. Oh, does get it! Ooh, I was very curious. That was a very, very close second stun lock there, but just barely got a tin can to knock into that barrier. And Eviona finishes it. Oh, and it looks like Eviona did not do the death skip either. Both of our races finishing with the showdown, though. Rival RNG. Let's see what's going to happen there. Like I said, one mistake by Noobii, and Eviona could easily take the lead. But as of right now, if RNG isn't unkind to Noobii, it's his race to lose. First fight up here is the Mantis score fight. Once again, we're looking for the Mantis to throw their head right at us and be glowing purple when they do so we can reflect that and do massive amount of damage here. Unfortunately, Noobii gets the yellow one. We'll have to see if Noobii can get a purple one, because if Noobii gets a purple attack, that will be a slight time save there over Noobii's run. Or maybe Eviona might not even get a single attack. We shall see. RNG can be a cruel mistress. Noobii finishing off the Mantis score fight, going to the final, last, small platforming section here. And by going very, very fast here, we can actually skip the laser attack that the Whale Core will give us. And yep, Noobii's going to say, no laser for you. Noobii now moving on to the Whale Core section, as Eviona is getting ready to climb up the building. Ooh, it's an interesting bomb barrage there by the Whale Core, but Noobii does a nice job of jumping out of the way, making sure not to take any damage there. You'll see that Whale Core likes to go off screen a lot. So we want to try to get this fight done as quickly as possible. Noobii finishing it off before Whale Core slides off the screen one final time. Let's see if Eviona can get some good deflections there. And looks like Eviona will be able to get it on the same path that Noobii got it. So long as he doesn't... Yep, alright, he got both deflections in this time. Spider Core here was very kind to Noobii last race. Let's see if the RNG holds strong here. It was 2 purple missile attacks that Spider Core gave Noobii last time. So far we haven't seen any of the large missiles come out. Looks like RNG is trying to balance itself out after all. Eviona starting off on the Spider Crawler section. Spider Core section, excuse me. No missiles for Eviona yet as well. Looks like both. Oh, there's the purple missile. That's going to help out a bit. Noobii now going into the Crawling Core section. Crawling Core section features our newest strat, found by Eviona. We're going to be doing the Heidi Crawly strat here, where our runners are staying to the leftmost of the screen as possible. They're going to try to drop down, touch the ground as that bottom leg of the Crawling Core moves forward. Ooh, Noobii getting a fast section here. When Crawling Core goes fast like that, it is very hard to reset without taking damage. But Noobii's health bar looks pretty healthy. I don't think he'll have any issues with this fight or the rivals. The final phase of the rival next. Eviona opting to jump out of the hidden strat while the Crawling Core went fast there, trying to save some health. And jumps right back in afterwards, trying to finish off now. As Noobii starts off his final fight against the rival. Rival starting off with the yellow sword. We don't like yellow swords around here. We want to see the rival pull out a sword and make it be purple. We can deflect those attacks, and actually, once we do, we'll actually knock the rival on the ground where he stays still for about a second or so. Noobii playing a little tennis, doing a little Roger Federer to Noobii there. Ooh, and unfortunately Noobii gets the worst RNG right there with that yellow katana. But followed up by a purple who knocks it down. Eviona's fighting off against the rival as well. Almost got that first health bar done. As Noobii is just about slowing down time there for a little bit, trying to get maximum damage in, and handles the rival. Eviona now playing a little pong with the rival, and knocking them down. Gets a good missile here. We like to see those big missiles come into the screen. Those big missiles, the rival likes to stand still while he calls them down, and for about a half a second afterwards. And Eviona finishes off their race too with a time of, well, I'm sorry, Noobii had a time of 23:18, and Eviona had a time of 23:40. So Noobii is actually going to take the first set of races. Nope, that's the wrong one. I know my right from left, everyone. There we go. So, everyone, as we were trying, as I was poorly describing at the end of our last race, since Noobii has won this set of races and Eviona has not lost this tournament, that means that we are going into another best-of-3 set of races between these two races to determine our grand champion, as both racers now have one loss to their record. So we'll take a quick break. We'll get that intro music coming back up, intermission music coming back up in a second here, and we'll be ready to start our next set of 3 in a few moments. Alrighty, everybody. We are back for our second set of races. Noobii taking the first set of the races triggers a second set of races for us today, now that Eviona has his first loss of that tournament. So, without further ado, I'll get the countdown started right now. We're gonna go 3, 2, 1, and go! Alright, everybody, welcome back. We're getting back into it here. We've had a good first set of races by our two racers, Noobii and Eviona here. Both of our racers are now having one set of losses in the tournament. Will now make this final set. The winner of this final set will be dubbed our SABR Grand Champion. So don't blink, because you might miss it. Our first race today was just a simple difference of 0.57 seconds. Yes, you heard me right, 0.57. So, once again, keep your eyes peeled to the screen, because these two are going to put on a show for us. Coming up here, we have just our first instance of slowing down time on that rolling invader. Looks like we have Eviona's screen about a second ahead of Noobii. Maybe a second and a half. It's really close, so judging by that, it looks like our races are neck and neck. The first boss up here that we get to see is a little mini boss by the name of Blast Jumper. Blast Jumper is a fairly easy boss. Ooh, Noobii getting a nice reflection there on the large cannon. Eviona finishing it off with Noobii right behind him, and with that delay, it means that we're right about neck and neck right now, everyone. The race just started, so... Once again, most of our races really haven't taken too many errors there. Eviona elected not to do the death skip last race on the Valentine boss, but one simple mistake like that may be the difference between the races here. So, just saying all that, we get the first glimpse at our true first boss of the game, and that will be the Meritor Mark II. Noobii gets starting off his fight with a purple body reflection. Eviona also gets one as well. Looks like RNG is being very even to our runner so far. Eviona doing a good job of dodging the missile attacks there. Noobii gets a yellow reflect. Can't reflect it, but does finish it off the last jumper before that attack is finished, with Eviona finishing right in step. Gotta hang on to this little red work van here. We're gonna ride this all the way into the highway. Highway is a great showcase of our runners' platforming abilities right here. You'll notice that we have a triple dash, but if we triple dash and on the third dash head down to certain angle with the level, we can actually reset our dashes and then continue to keep dashing using no time and no speed. Noobii and Eviona are now up against the Kitty Chopper. How many kitties do you think could fit in that chopper? That is a game we have to start playing now. But the Kitty Chopper will be shooting out some purple missiles, purple bullets, and can also become deflectable themselves, as you saw on Eviona's screen. Eviona getting the purple deflect gave him a slight advantage through RNG there. And now they're on to the tunnel section of the highway, which is... The races don't make it look like it, but it is a very difficult section of the game to do optimally. But both of our players look good. We see the first instance of the rival in the run. The rival is the main antagonist of Bleed 1. Ooh, Eviona getting another nice little purple deflect big missile there. Unfortunately, Noobii did not get... I spoke too soon. Noobii does get his right before the end of the fight. And Eviona now moving on towards Valentine at the very head of this traffic jam here. Valentine is coming with their blue barrier. The barrier will block pistol and katana shots that we shoot, so we're gonna need a little extra hand here taking care of Valentine. Luckily, we just passed by our rival, and once he slowly catches up, he will help us out here. There it is, little targeting reticle on the screen. Rival's going to shoot some missiles out, break off that blue barrier for our racers, and allow us to do damage to Valentine. So now during this next section here, what our racers are going to try to do is not allow that rival to take any damage to his whale core, allowing him to fire off a shot that breaks the shield. We don't want to see 3 cars. 3 purple cars, as you're seeing on Eviona's screen, is the hardest to deflect. Oh, Eviona does miss the middle one there. That's going to cost him a cycle and give Noobii a good lead here. And with that, Noobii should be able to clear out Valentine here. A nice clean Valentine fight for him. Eviona is going to be right behind, just losing a little bit of time, missing that that one cycle. Those red cars are nobody's friends. They're very hard to deflect all 3 consistently. Get to see a little bit of a plucky shot there. And now Noobii and Eviona are going to be riding the whale core. We're going to take this whale core right up into the sky. We're going to go be chasing after that warship that Valentine showed up on. Whale core is going to be interrupted in our journey here in a few seconds by everybody's favorite cowboy. Yeehaw! There's the red sprite for us. Red sprite will shoot out those purple or yellow large missiles. We like the bullets. We like the purple ones as we can deflect them. We'll also see a lot of these little birdos on the screen flying all over the place. We want to avoid those as best as can. We do not want to try to shoot those. That's just going to be resulting in a time loss. Noobii getting some great deflections in there. Ooh, Eviona does miss the deflecting that back into red sprite. And now seeing a lot of yellow bullets, but does finish it off. Yeehaw, red sprite. We'll see you soon. Both Noobii and Eviona now are heading into the drone section here, where all of this is not RNG based, so our runners know when these drones are coming out and what direction they'll be headed in, so they can switch to their katanas and just take care of them, no problem whatsoever. And now the mysterious ninja shows up. First phase of the ninja here, we just want to deflect the purple attacks. After 3 deflections, he'll come down and shoot out a yellow thunderbolt. We'll just avoid him there. During those yellow thunderbolts, though, we are actually allowed to do some damage to him as he falls to the ground. In phase 2, he'll start deflecting all of our katana shots. So you'll see our racers switching to the katana to try to do a little sword duel. And both of our racers are very good at killing the ninja. I barely have time to explain all the mechanics before we're already moving on to the next section. Eviona just finishing up the ninja nair as well. The next section here is another non-auto-scroller auto-scroller. We can't really save up any time here. We just gotta kind of hang on the whale core, and Noobii pulls out his akimbo pistol, showing off the akimbo strats, while Noobii elects to stick with the katana and pistols, opting to deflect those purple bullets. And now some missiles will come on the screen and take out that whale core that our rival was driving in. So we're going to use these missiles that Rex Rocket shoots to go take on the boss. Rex Rocket here, starting off with yellow bullets, unfortunately, for Noobii, as Eviona makes their way towards the Rex Rocket. Ooh, Noobii does miss. Nope, he's slowing down time. He wants to make sure he gets both of those missiles fired right back at Rex Rocket. And gets a perfect Rex Rocket kill, killing the boss as close to the bottom of the screen as possible to save a few, about a half second or so of screen animation there. And Eviona using a little dash just to make sure that they don't fall beyond the mark, and gets the kill as well. Noobii now working his way through the outer shell of the warship. Good section here, demonstrates the platforming skills of our runners here. And onto the Chef Spammer. Chef Spammer likes to pop out a bunch of space pills that eat up all of our bullets. So Noobie's going to switch to the katana. As soon as those space pills come flying out, he'll just chop them up with a few katana strokes, making sure that he doesn't lose any DPS to them. Eviona now, also doing the same. Chef Spammer does like to cheat a little bit, even if we clear out all of the space pills that they shoot out, he will be able to pull out some from off screen. But both of our races finished that off very well. Moving into the true auto-scroller section of the game. This section here, the camera will ramp up and accelerate faster the longer we're in the level. But if either of our racers takes any sort of damage here, whether it be a bullet running into something or whatever, the acceleration on the camera will reset to its original state, which is much, much slower than what it should be. But neither of our racers look like they took any damage. I don't think they've taken any damage during those auto-scrollers on any of the races we've had today. And they're going through the last section of the outer shell of the warship, going into the boss rush mode. These bosses are bosses that originally appeared in Bleed 1. And first up is the Robo-Guppy. The Robo-Guppy will slam to the ground and roll towards us. When it does that, we want to see the purple. Unfortunately, both of our runners are getting the yellow variant of that attack, so no deflections for either of them. But Noobii finishes off Robo-Guppy as Eviona is about a quarter of a health behind, and does get, unfortunately, that's kind of a troll reflection there at the end. The reflection came in, but the boss was already dead, so we couldn't even really get max damage out of that reflection. Noobii and Eviona now starting the dance with Gippy and Stu. Gippy or Stu will be on the screen only one at a time. Stu will be going after and shooting purple. We like the purple, because purple we can reflect. We don't like the yellow, because yellow we can't reflect. But Noobii finishing off those worms, getting ready for Robo-White. Robo-White with his shield that blocks our pistol shots. We're going to try to platform and maneuver so that we can always stay on the open end of the shield, and in the instances where we can't, we'll switch to a katana and try to reach beyond that shield to do damage. You also see that the Robo-White will occasionally throw its shield out. Our runners are skilled that they will not try to reflect that, instead opting for the extra time that the ball will take outside of its shield if you don't reflect it back. And Eviona finishing off that. Noobii now going on to Robo-Bunny. Robo-Bunny with the two attacks that we had talked about previously. We got this mini space bills that Robo-Bunny shoots out. You know, just hanging around cast spamming a lot. We like that attack because we can reflect the last space bill back at Robo-Bunny. The attack being that she calls down a car that's unreflectable. We don't like that attack. Noobii finishes off that race, breaks up that door about 12-17. Eviona finishing off their race, breaking the door probably, what did we say today? 25. So we got about 8-second difference between our two races right now as they move into the inner parts of the warship. Noobii doing a great job here, avoiding all those damage areas and making it right into the segment slider. Eviona right on the heels, dropping down and moving into the segment slider right now. Segment slider, or fingers as some like to call it. We really want to see the segments, the middle sections go out fast. Once the middle sections are out of there, we can actually start dealing damage to that orange center core. Ooh, that is unfortunate for Noobii there. Just some really bad RNG with the way those segments slid out. All four of them coming out at once, creating essentially a moving wall to prevent Noobii from doing damage. But Noobii finishes it off the segment slider with Eviona about 40% of the health bar left. Let's see if Eviona can finish it off in this cycle here. He might be able to save some time. Alright, I think that is a little bit of a time save there on Eviona. We might have made up a little bit of time there. Noobii now going through the 0G section here, pulling out those katanas, wrecking all those purple globs, making their way towards the Nemesis core. Eviona right behind now. Just needs to go north here, go up a little bit, and start off that Nemesis core fight. Nemesis core, we want to see those spike walls turning different colors, so that means we can deflect for extra damage. If we take a peek at the core itself, it'll always flash. Ooh, 3 purples in a row. That's some good RNG for Noobii right there. Eviona right behind, dodging those lasers. Both of our runners are opting for the slash shot strategy here, where you rotate between pistol shot and a katana shot. If done correctly, is a good DPS increase. If you're off slightly bit, there is a large DPS decrease, though. So it's a very risky gamble to try to go for that strat. Both of our runners finish off Nemesis Core 1, going into the Armored Nemesis Core version 2. We need to use the Nemesis Core's own attacks against it to break that armored shell, and allowing us to get to the vulnerable goodies inside. Noobii does a great job of that, getting ready to go into their last platforming section on the warship before they fight Anti-Battalion. Eviona right behind, trying to just wait for, yep, gets good deflections there and finishes it off. Noobii now going through the section of the warship, spinning, it's turning, we got stuff closing and opening on us. Very confusing section, but Noobii handles it well. Eviona now making their way through the rickety-rockety space warship. Noobii now starting off against the Anti-Battalion. Anti-Battalion here, we want to see some Pac-Mans. Unfortunately, we don't get a first Pac-Man. We get a first bullet for Noobii. Eviona starting off their fight now. Get a little Purple Rain. Purple Rain isn't the best. It's on the lower end of the forms we like to see there. But it's followed up by that Pac-Man. So we're going to take a peek at Noobii's screen here. Let's see if we get a purple Pac-Man or not. Unfortunately, it's a yellow Pac-Man. Not as much damage as a purple Pac-Man, but still a great form for us to get a lot of DPS down. Eviona gets a saw. It's followed up by bullets. Has Anti-Battalion down to less than half health. Ooh, gets a Shark there. Shark's right about the middle ground as far as RNG goes for which forms we get from Anti-Battalion. Followed up by another bullet attack. And Eviona does finish off Anti-Battalion on that purple bullet attack. Unfortunately, Eviona did not get any Pac-Man there. So while we got a little bit of good RNG earlier, it's a little bit of bad RNG on the Anti-Battalion fight. RNG, it's a cruel mistress. You never know if it's going to be kind or if it's going to be rough. Noobii now starting off the fight against Valentine. Valentine is the fight with the death skip animation. So you'll see our runners opt to maybe go a little more risky, not worry about taking as much damage. Health bar really doesn't mean too much as long as you don't die before the skip part. The first phase here is where there's a bunch of minions coming on the screen. Valentine will summon a lot of them, trying to block as many bullets as possible. Noobii does a good job of making sure that the bullets go on Valentine and not the minions themselves, as Eviona is doing a good display of that as well. Noobii now working on phase 2. Try to find the gaps in those blue nets. Eviona finishing it off, getting ready for stage 2. Noobii just about finishing it off Valentine here. Phase 3 of Valentine is where it gets interesting. She starts teleporting, she starts using a laser attack against us. And it's also the time after that phase when we want to worry about our skip. Noobii doing a good job of staying to one side while Valentine teleports around trying to get her laser off. Having to only angle up and down to make sure that they hit Valentine before she gets those lasers off. And now we'll see Valentine teleporting all over the screen. We like to see a horizontal teleport here. You see, that was a good deflection there by Noobii. Followed up by a great single reflection on the bullet. Noobie's now jumping off the screen, trying to set up for this death skip here. And gets the death skip, opting to go a little safe, waits a little extra frames than they did in the previous races. Definitely would not want to see them have to refight phase 3 all over again by doing the death skip too early. Noobii gets his first stun down on Valentine, and looking for a trash lock here. Yeah, it's the second one. We just need to see him get one more taunt down here, and gets the third trash lock. Valentine is stun locked throughout the whole fight, just the way we like her. Noobii finishing it off the showdown, as Eviona now is setting up for their trash lock strat. And gets the first two. Can he get the last one here? Looks like that's perfectly timed, and Eviona will finish off Valentine as well. Now that we've run back the masses and the people rejoice Rin as the hero, the greatest hero ever, they're going to shower them with roses. And what's a better way to celebrate being the hero of the world than going home and playing some video games? Unfortunately, we have a rival that's still out there, and that rival is jealous that we got all the credit. So they're going to try to make it so that they're the number one. But we're not going to allow that to happen now, are we? So the first fight up here is the Mantis Corps. Like I said, we're looking for the Mantis Corps to launch their head down at us. And in doing so, we want to see a purple glow around them, meaning that we can reflect that attack, because that is a nice damage boost. Eviona here may actually get the kill off before we even see a single Mantis head attack. Yes, that is correct. We'll see if Eviona can get one. Ooh, Eviona does get the reflect in there. That's a big damage boost for them. Let's see if it helps them out all, trying to catch up to Noobii here. Noobii now working on the laser skip. Gets by there quick before the Whale Corps can shoot out that laser. Eviona now setting up for it as well. Noobii electing to go for a little bit of a time slow there, right at the start of the fight, trying to get extra DPS in there while the Whale Corps is on screen before they stop moving around. In this section here, we're going to be looking to deflect all those missiles, as Noobii just showed us there, right back at Whale Corps. He even gets his 5th missile deflected in there as the Whale Corps comes back on the screen. Very well done. Eviona right behind, looking for the missiles of their own to start deflecting back. Gets 1, gets 2. Unfortunately, oh, that's some rough RNG. The 3rd and 4th missile on that attack there, the Whale Corps had started moving forward and covering up the hitbox of the missile. That is very unfortunate for Eviona there. Noobii now working on the Spider Crow. Spider Corps here, we want to see some big purple missiles coming out of the mouth of the Spider Corps. If we get some big purple missiles out of that Center Corps, we can get good deflection back in. There are a few other deflecting attacks that the Spider Corps will give us, but they're not nearly as damaging as that. Noobii finishing off the Spider Corps, dropping down below the level now. Getting ready. Oh, Eviona unfortunately gets a missile, but it is a yellow missile, so that is not deflectable. Noobii setting up now, getting ready for the hiding crawler strat, where our racers stick to the left side of the screen here. Brand new strat, only came out like about 2 weeks ago by Eviona. And as the Whale Corps takes a step forward, we are able to slip in behind that bottom leg and reset our dashes, and then dash and kind of stay neutral in the air there for a bit while the leg goes back and then forward again. We can do the same. The Spider Corps does have 2 different crawling modes. The crawling corps, a slow and a fast. If it's going fast, it's very, very hard to do the Spider Corps strat without taking damage. But Noobii has finished that off, going up against the rival next. Rival starts off the fight with the big missile. We like that on Noobie's screen. Unfortunately, it falls up with the thing that we don't like, which is the yellow katana, where he'll deflect its back. Noobie playing some tennis, kicking some butt, breaking the rival's serve. Followed up by another missile. This is some really good rival RNG here for minus that 1 quick yellow katana attack. Noobie's getting some pretty good rival RNG. Eviona now on the rival as well, playing some tennis of themselves. Ooh, that's right. It's a yellow dash attack here. We don't like to see that. But Noobii does get another tennis attack. And so long as it doesn't go yellow, we should have Noobii finishing off the rival on this. Yes! Gives us a good missiles to finish off that race. And Noobie's going to come in at a time of 23:04. 2 days ago, that would have been a world record. But Noobii broke it yesterday, and just broke it once again a little while ago. Eviona finishes up with a 23:13, which is another phenomenal time. That, I think, is like 5 seconds away from the world record from 2 days ago, if I'm not correct. I'm not sure if that is a new PB for Evie. I know Evie PB'd earlier, but I don't exactly remember the run time. But we're going to take a quick second here. We'll take another quick little break before we start our next race. We're going to make sure that we give Noobii a nice sundae that he can sip on while he is getting ready for the next race. Then we'll get a little intermission going, and then we'll be right back, everybody.
Ordinary
Alrighty, everybody, we are back for race number 2 of our second set of races for tonight. Looks like we got both of our racers ready, hovering the heart. So I'm going to go right into the countdown. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and go! So everybody who hasn't been with us today, this is Bleed 2 Speedrunning. It's a platforming boss rush game. We have some small platforming sections followed up by bosses as the general layout of the game. Our players are on the new game, story new game category, which is only our starting katana and pistols for weapons and a triple air dash. In our freestyle category, there's a few more unlockable weapons that we can get used to and a few more movement options for our air. So, we've already skipped through our first little intro boss, which was a shield reflector, which also, excuse me, which also shows us one of the big key components of this game. Any purple bullet, any purple missile you see on the screen, we are able to reflect that with a katana attack. So we like purple bullets, we like purple missiles, anything purple we're pretty much a fan of. Now we're going to see our first mini-boss of the stage, which is our Blast Jumper. Blast Jumper is a pretty straightforward boss here. We are just looking to deflect as much as we can while avoiding the damage. No, that is not me. If asking about the path block, no. I'm not sure who that is, but... Oh, wait, it's for the Game's Done Quick section. Yes, I do know that. No, that is not me. That is somebody who's way more intelligent than I am. But now we're into our first section here. It's a non-auto-scroller, auto-scroller section. All of the enemies here appearing on the screen are in a set order. There's no RNG to this section of the run, so our racers pretty much know what's coming ahead of schedule. Next up, we have here our Miracore Mark II. Miracore Mark II has a couple different attacks they can get at us. They can shoot out the two different forms of the bullets there, in the straight line or in a crazy spread pattern. They will also use the Miracore body itself as displayed on Noobii's screen there. And we want to see when they do that attack, we would really prefer it if they turn purple. If the Miracore turns purple during that attack, we were able to reflect it. And we almost got to see that, but Noobii killed the boss too quick. Eviona also finishing off the boss quick. Our racers have about a second stream lag between the two. Looks like Eviona is just about a second ahead. So right now it looks like both of our racers are neck and neck. So next up here is our highway section of the game. Highway section is a great display of the platforming skill that our runners have right now. There is a triple dash mechanic in this. We can jump and dash a total of 3 times in the air without having to reset. But if we angle our third dash downwards, and we can kind of kiss the ground with our third dash, we can actually reset our dashes that way, lose no speed, no momentum, and continue to dash on. This kitty chopper right here is the mini-boss, one of 2 mini-bosses in our highway stage. We're going to see some purple missiles come flying out. We're going to see the kitty core turn into different colors as well. We're hoping that there would be purple there. Eviona gets some nice RNG there and spreads on ahead into the tunnel section of the highway. Tunnel section of the highway gives us our first Bleed 1 revisit here. It's the Rival from Bleed 1. The Rival is the main antagonist in Bleed 1, and we're both going on our way to fight off the new antagonist of this game, being Valentine. Ooh, Eviona gets a nice purple missile there. You probably didn't even get to see it because Eviona deflected it back so fast. You can also see Noobii getting a yellow. Ooh, Noobii is so far early on. It's still very, very early on in the run, but RNG is being very kind to Eviona and being pretty standard to Noobii so far. But Noobii does get a purple missile there. And now that moving on to the last section of the highway, the traffic jam is almost done. We are going to be going up against the antagonist of this game, like we had said earlier. This is Valentine. Valentine comes with a blue barrier that our pistols and katanas cannot break through. So we're going to have to wait for our rival to catch up, to get through that traffic jam, and help us out with this fight. This is one of those fights that's pretty standard. There's not really any time to be gained in this fight here. You see the reticle come on the screen and shoot missiles at Valentine, which breaks her barrier there. Ooh, Eviona getting the 3 cards, but gets all 3 this time. So in this next section here, we're pretty much trying to protect the semi-core driven by our rival. If we successfully protect the semi-core while they are targeting Valentine, we allow the semi-core to fire off a missile or a laser that will break the barrier. As both of our racers here looking like they're having no trouble with one, doesn't look like we're going to get any segments in there, but this is a 3 cycles fight once the rival comes on screen. We are going to need the rival to break those barriers 3 times for us to take down Valentine's full health bar. Both of our runners do it without missing a single cycle. So now it's time we break off the wheels and take to the sky. We're going to turn that semi-core into a whale core. Both of our racers are going to be going after the warship that Valentine arrived in on. You can see it there in the background of Eviona and Noobii's screen. We're kind of stuck on one of those auto-scroller, not really an auto-scroller because we don't really move, but the background and enemies move. So in this section here, we're just going to be trying to kill all the minions as they come on the screen before we face off against the first mini-boss of this stage, which is everybody's favorite cowboy, the Red Sprite. And when the Red Sprite comes on, we gotta give out those yeehaws! As we see right there. Thank you, Pirates. The Red Sprite here will call on a lot of minions on the screen. We call those bullet sponges. We don't like bullet sponges. Bullet sponges soak up our bullets so we can't actually do damage to the enemy that we want, which is the Red Sprite in this instance. But Eviona and Noobii finished off pretty quickly. And now we're going into another non-RNG section of the race here. We got some drones that spawn in on the screen here and come right at us. Runners are very knowledgeable in the game, so they know exactly the pattern that these drones are going to be taking. And they have their route set. Eviona is now off to fight the ninja. We don't know much about the ninja. We do know about their attacks and moves and stuff, but any of the backstory and stuff like that, we're kind of left in the dark about that kind of stuff. But Ninja Phase 1 is pretty straightforward. We're going to see a lot of purple sword slashes. We're going to deflect those, followed up by a yellow thunderbolt attack, and where we just try to avoid there. Ninja 2 here will deflect any pistol attacks we use unless they're in mid-attack. So there's 3 different attacks we can listen for the audio cues for, and judging by which attack they give us, we have different strats to deal with. The most annoying one being the one you see on Noobii's screen right now, where there is no deflect, no blue, no yellow to it. It's just a sword slash that they dash right across the screen and jump up whenever they come into space with our hitboxes. Now we're on to another non-auto-scroller. You'll see a difference of preference here between our 2 runners. It doesn't really save time either way, it's just more what they like to do. You have Noobii on the left doing the akimbo strats, where 2 pistols shooting in opposite directions, whereas Eviona continues to stick with the pistol katana. The akimbo pistols, we have no katana out, so we can't deflect those purple bullets, but Noobii just likes to avoid those in general, whereas Eviona will stick with the pistol katana combo and deflect the purple pistols. They ride a couple of missiles, and now we're on to see Rex Rocket. Rex Rocket will try to... Ooh, that's a great stop for the fight by Noobii, getting both purple deflect missiles there. He'll shoot out some purple missiles or yellow missiles. He can also shoot out purple or yellow bullets, and a whole host of missiles. The little green kind. And both of our runners there, you'll see them trying to get that final shot in while falling off the screen. Rin will fall off the screen after this fight, so if you are already there, you will actually save a good few tenths of a second there. And both of our racers, neck and neck, like I said, pretty much in sync once we account for the about second stream delay. They've made it onto the warship, and now they are getting ready to go against the Chaff Spammer. Chaff Spammer loves to shoot out his space pills. Space pills are no good. Space pills means that we can't hit the Chaff Spammer because they usually occupy all the space in between us and that space, Chaff Spammer. You'll see our runners switch to the katana here while they get real close to the Chaff Spammer to try to remove as many of the space pills that it shoots out. And that way there they can just continue to do... Ooh, both of our runners there getting excellent kills all the way to the right of the screen, so that way there they can continue on with the level as fast as possible. Now we're into a true auto-scroller. This auto-scroller here, it will actually ramp up in speed. The camera speed itself ramps up the longer you're into the level. If either of our runners takes any hit here from any enemy, it will actually reset that camera speed back to the original when the level started, and that is a serious time loss. But in all of our races today, none of our races have gotten hit, and it looks like we're going to continue that tradition with this race as well. Warship is dealing with a little bit of a damage, so you're seeing some debris fall onto the screen here, but both of our runners stay close to the bottom of the screen there, using their triple dashes to get through that section quickly. And now we're on to a boss rush. These bosses all first appeared in Bleed 1, starting off with Robo-Guppy. Robo-Guppy gives us very simple basic attacks. He'll drop down here. Ooh, Eviona gets a good drop, followed up with a purple reflect. When Guppy drops like that, he can give us either a purple or a yellow reflect, or sometimes he just won't roll. So that's Noobii also gets the purple reflect too, evening out the RNG. And both races finish off. I believe Eviona is just barely in the head, barely in the lead by less than a second and a half. All of our races today have been amazing, and these two races fought earlier in our tournament, and that race, it was a combined 2-0 by Eviona. But once you combine both races, the difference between the two is less than 2 seconds. So we're talking about two very equally skilled races we have here for you guys tonight. Next up is the Robo-Guppy and Stu. It's a little dance that we have to do against these guys. Guppy or Stu will only be on the screen once. So if Guppy's on the screen, Stu won't be. If Stu's on the screen, Guppy won't be. So it's all about making sure we get our dance in so that we're reflecting as much of Stu's purple misses bullets as possible. The next boss up is the Robo-White. Robo-White is a pain. Robo-White has a shield that blocks all of our pistol shots. There is a small gap in that shield, as you can see, so our runners will do their best to try to just keep rotating with the shield. And sometimes you will see them switch to katana just to get damage through the shield. Noobii, doing slightly better on that fight, takes back the lead. I have a feeling this race is going to go back and forth. Robo-Bunny's up next. Robo-Bunny has two different attacks between her bullet hell sections. One, she will shoot out a series of missiles. First, they're all yellow, followed by a final purple one. That purple one's reflectable. We like that. The other attack that she can give us, she summons down a car from off screen, as you see on Eviona's. It doesn't land on the ground because Eviona beats Robo-Bunny first. So, next up, we're going to be going further into the warship. In the warship here, we'll see, ooh, Noobii does take some damage there. That will slow him down just a tad. In a race this close, that could be a game changer, but we shall see. Ooh, Eviona actually bonks on their Rin's second dash there. Also losing time just about the same area, but both of our racers are now onto the segment slider. Segment slider takes damage when we hit that orange core in the center there. We call this the segment slider. As you see, it slides out in different segments. We really want to see those interior segments slide out first, as we can actually do damage to the orange core with our pistols. Once one of those inner 3 sections slide out, you'll also see these certain purple and yellow shots come out. There's also another attack where the middle one, right here on Eviona's screen, the middle segment turns purple, allowing us to reflect for a lot of damage. And Noobii finishes it off with Eviona right behind. Noobii now going into the 0G section of our race. Noobii is cruising right now with Eviona right behind. Getting up into the Nemesis core. Nemesis core here, we want to take a peek at the Nemesis core, big old white eye in the middle there. That white eye, the outer rim of it will be either yellow or purple, indicating what kind of bullets he's going to shoot out. Yellow, we gotta get away. Purple, we get real close so we can deflect as many of those shots as possible. Ooh, a nice 3 purple in a row there from Noobii. Eviona also on the boss here. Also getting a nice 3 purple followed by a yellow. That's the best kind of RNG we want to see from the Nemesis core there. Noobii finishing it off, going into phase 2, Nemesis core Mark II. Nemesis core Mark II has an armored shell around it. We need to wait for the Nemesis core to do certain attacks, like a reflectable attack right there, where we can reflect it an attack, or either push its own bombs back on top of it to knock off those armored outer shell and allow us to do damage to the nice gooey center of Nemesis core. Noobii now just about to wrap this up. Maybe one more. Could he get it in his final cycle? He does get it in one. Wow, I thought he was going to take another cycle to finish that off. That was some good use of time slow there by Noobii. Eviona now getting some good deflects, knocks all those armor shields off, and moving on right behind Eviona. Now we have the rickety-rockety part of the warship. It's failing. It's coming down to the ground. Stuff's going wrong. The screen is shaking. We've got segments sliding up and down and left and right. These purple blues blobs are trying to just get in our way and not make us have a happy day, but Noobii does a great job avoiding all of that. Eviona gets hung up just a tad right behind. Noobii doing some very excellent platforming this race here. If Noobii does win this race, that will make him the Grand Final Champion. If Eviona wins, we have one last race for you guys. Noobii starting off his anti-battalion fight with the best form you can see, followed up by a purple reflect. We really want to see those Pac-Mans from the anti-battalion boss here. Unfortunately, it's followed up by a purple rain. We know purple rain's one of the lower end ones. We get a saw here. Saw's probably about arguably the second best, possibly sharp. You'd have to ask the runners for better clarification on those two. Eevee getting a saw here, getting the anti-battalion down to less than 40% health as Noobii finishes off that fight. Eviona is going to get a Pac-Man here at the end, but unfortunately that Pac-Man came very late. We didn't even get to see the final deflection on the Pac-Man for Eviona. Now, both of our racers have taken down the warship. It's falling out of the sky. It's breaking up. We're going to jump back onto our rival's whale core here. He's going to give us a nice personal escort to the showdown first. Valentine. Valentine has 4 stages in this fight here. You see Noobii running off the screen there. That's to set up an intentional death skip between the stages 3 and 4, right before the last stage of Valentine. First stage here, she's going to be bringing back those bullet sponges, summoning on a lot of minions on the screen there, trying to block our bullet shots. But we're going to do our best to avoid most of them and just deal damage in a straight line so that we can get to Valentine herself. Eviona right in the same phase right now, probably about like, I'd say about a 65% of a health bar difference between our two runners. Ooh, that was a pure yellow attack. That's some bad RNG there for Eviona. Not to worry, saw that it slows down at all, but there was no reflection for Eviona there. Noobii getting a purple, yellow, yellow bazooka on stage 2. We want to see more purples, less yellows. Noobii now just trying to get in the final attacks here on phase 2. And does so nice and easy, as Eviona is now get the boss down to less than half health. Trying to get their way to stage 3. Stage 3 is where Valentine gets kind of tricky. She has these sections here where she tries to shoot a laser at you. If you stay to one side of the screen, it makes it much easier just to track her and do as much damage to her. Once we do hit her, she'll stop channeling that laser. So it's always great if we stay to one side and we can just stop her from channeling as quick as possible. Noobii getting a complete purple on that second ring. Very good for the deflections there. Eviona now maybe caught up just a tad bit there. Looks like we're down to like 40% of our health bar, separating our two races here. Once again, that health bar right there can be dictated by RNG alone, not even any races. Noobii does set up a nice death skip there. There's a small animation that plays out as Valentine rises between phases 3 and 4, and by purposely dying as soon as she starts to rise, we can actually skip that whole animation and reset our health bar. One of the nice bonuses of... oh no! Oh, that's going to be a big time loss there. Noobii does not get the stun lock. Let's see if Evie only gets the stun lock. We do a little trash lock here. If we space out our taunts and our damage as well, we can make sure that... Oh, Noobii misses another one. Maybe Noobie's had a lot of races back to back. He's on his like 9th or 10th race in the last like 4 hours from the tournament. So I wonder if fatigue is setting in, because Noobii had not had a single stun lock miss before this race. But Eviona, with that, is going to take the lead. Going into the final boss. The final boss, now that we have saved the world, we've regained the love of the populace, we just want to go home and play some video games. But unfortunately, that pesky-haired, yellowed rival is going to ruin our fun. Thank God he just takes out the TV and not the game, because man, if I lost my save from this guy, I would be super upset. First phase of the rival, he's in his Manticore form. Manticore form here, we want to see the Mantis glow purple and try to attack us with its head directly, not with these bullets here. As you're seeing on Eviona's screen there, that's some good RNG from Eviona right there. Noobii now looking to try to get that same RNG luck. They want to see the purple Mantis head here. No, unfortunately now RNG is not being on Noobii's side. Eviona now moving into the last platforming section of the game, which is the laser skip. Essentially, Whalecore shows up, wants to shoot us with the laser, but we're going to move on faster than it can shoot out that laser at us. Noobii now setting up for his. Oh no, Noobii! Uses a little time slow, does get the laser skip, but does take some extra time there. Whalecore here will like to jump back and forth across the screen. We want to look for those purple missiles it shoots out. With those purple missiles, we can deflect it back to get extra damage on there. Eviona is doing a good job there. Noobii is doing a great job of getting extra deflections, and I believe he got like an extra missile or two in there, dropping that Whalecore down even quicker than Eviona was. Eviona still having a lead. Going into this fighting core, just 3 boss phases left, guys. This race is going to be coming down to either anything. It could come down to RNG, it could come down to a simple error on Eviona. It is still anyone's race. Spidey core here, we want to look for a big purple missile coming out of the main phase here, as you see on Eviona's screen. We can reflect that back for massive amounts of reflect damage there. And Eviona, with that deflection, is going to wipe up Spidey core. Let's see and hope that Noobii can get that same RNG luck. Let's see a purple missile come right out here. There we go, game. Thank you for being fair to our racers. Noobii finishing off the Spidey core now. And now we are heading on to the crawling core. Just 2 boss phases left for the end of this race. Eviona here will dash to the left, go behind the boss. This is a strat devised by Eviona that's been adapted by a lot of our racers in the community. Heidi Crawler is the unofficial name of the trick for now. Essentially, we're using our 3 triple jump dashes to lag in the air, wait for that Spidey crawling core to move its bottom leg forward so that we can do damage. So that we can land on the ground and reset our dashes. Eviona doing a good example of that. It's a very hard trick to describe, as it's not a very visual trick, but basically you're looking for little purple dashes icons on the left-hand side of Noobii's screen there. Eviona now starting off their final fight against the 2 health bar boss, the Rival. Rival here has a couple of different RNG attacks there on Eviona's screen. That yellow sword is the worst one to see. If the Rival pulls out his yellow sword and starts doing sword swipes at us, that means that he's reflecting any pistol shots that we are sending back at him. So it's kind of just a void, and some will switch to a katana at that point to try to get in some extra DPS, but it's very dangerous. We'd like to see those big missiles. Ooh, another yellow sword after though. Noobii does miss the tennis match there, unfortunately. That could have got a little bit of a time save there. Eviona does get a great point-blank tennis match against the Rival. And Eviona looking like they might finish off here. Might see one more attack from the boss. Nope, Eviona does finish. And with a time of 23:12. Well played, Eviona. And we got Noobii right behind him here. Ooh, unfortunately, see, that's a good example of the yellow sword attacks you don't want to see the Rival doing for us. And that'll be the fight for Noobii. Nah, it's alright. Noobii waiting. He was about to reset quick, but I realized that we do wait for that game clear sign to come up. But that is going to be race 2, going to Eviona. Guys, this has been a hell of a race. This has been insane. We've had Noobii take the first set of races, Eviona winning the first, Noobii taking the first race in the second set, Eviona taking the second race. We are all down. Just 1 race now, guys. That's all it's going to be left to decide who the grand champion of our SABR tournament is. We're going to take a quick break, let our racers try to decompress a little bit. It's been a lot of racing going on today, and we will be back with you momentarily. Alrighty, everybody, looks like our runners are all set, and we are back for our final race. Everyone, the winner of this race will be crowned our SABR 2019 Grand Champion. So I hope everyone's gotten their popcorn, gotten their drink, because we are getting ready to do our countdown right now. So races. 3, 2, 1, and go! Alrighty guys, I hope you're all in for a good show here. We've had both of our races putting on an amazing display for everyone tonight. I know I'm enjoying it, I hope you all are too. So for those of us who haven't missed it, this is Bleed 2. It's mostly a platforming with boss rush kind of style of game. We have pistols and katanas to work with during this category, the new game category. We also have the triple dash as our default air movement speed. The big component of this game is purple bullets and purple missiles, purple projectiles. We can deflect those back at the enemies to do a good amount of damage. We've seen our runners utilize that mode a lot. So, coming up here, we'll see our second little intro boss here, showing us another big mechanic of our game, Bleed 2, is the fact that we can slow down time. We only have a limited amount of slowing down time, as you can see right below our racer's health bars at the top there. That orange bar is the time manipulation bar. If that runs off, we gotta wait for that to go all the way back up before we can mess around with time again. Both of our racers now are coming into the blast jumper section. Blast jumper section is our first mini-boss of the game. It's a pretty straightforward boss here, shoots us a couple pistols at us, bullets at us. Some of them are purple, some of them are yellow. Sometimes it'll use its body against us. In those instances, we want to see the purple glow on it. Eviona getting a good, nice, quick kill on that, followed by Noobii. Looks like Eviona is about a second ahead as far as the stream delay. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I miffed the whole entire timer on this last race. I was a little too hyped. Thankfully, both of our races run live split, so we have both of the timers on there. I do apologize for that one, guys. A little too excited on my part there. The next section we have here is a non-auto scroller that's kind of like an auto scroller. Those enemies came out in a set pattern that our runners know very well. Next, now we actually get to see our first boss of the game, which will be Miracore Mark II. Miracore Mark II giving Noobii a nice reflect attack there. Unfortunately, Eviona just not with the same attack, but doing pretty good handling it well. And Eviona does get the yellow attack. Unfortunately, no reflections on the body there for Eviona. Noobii finishing it off the Miracle Mark II, and Eviona right behind. And now we're gonna just jump on this little work van here. We're gonna go head out into a big old traffic jam on the highway. Why is there a traffic jam on the highway? Because of our antagonist of this game, which is Valentine. So this section here gives us a great example to display the amazing platforming skills of our runners. There is a trick with our triple dash here. If we do angle our third dash down to where we kiss the ground on the third dash, we can actually continue dashing afterwards and not lose really any acceleration whatsoever. Ooh, Eviona gets a yellow chopper to start. That's not the best RNG for Eevee. Noobii doing a good job of just knocking down. Did not get any yellow or purple on his first phase of Kitty Chopper. Kitty Chopper, I believe we had in the chat, what do we think? There was about 8 kitties in that chopper. Ooh, Eviona does get the reflect there on the second phase of Kitty Chopper, killing that boss. Now they're moving into the tunnel section of the highway. Another great example to highlight our runners' great platforming skills. Eviona doing a good job there, as well as Noobii. And here comes Rival. Rival was an enemy in Bleed 1, the big main antagonist in Bleed 1. Ooh, Eviona gets a good missile there to start. Oh no, Noobii! Yes, he does get the missile off, okay. That was an unfortunate set of other missiles blocking him from the big purple missile, but he takes a little bit of a damage just to get through there to make sure he gets that deflect down. The redeflect damage that we can do is pretty significant, so we want to try to, if the game is going to get, I'm sorry, if our runners are trying to maximize their damage output, you really want to make sure that if the game gives you a reflectable attack, that we get that reflect in. Now we're at the end of the traffic jam, and we see Valentine. Valentine here comes with a blue barrier. We cannot stop that blue barrier with our pistols and katanas. In some of our other categories, namely freestyle mode, we can switch to different weapon sets to break these barrier, but in the version that you're seeing here today, it's new game, and we don't have access to those extra weapons, so we're going to be using our rival here to help us out, do a little co-op, you know. Enemy of my enemy is my friend and all. We're going to need to protect the semi-core that the rival is driving here from any of Valentine's attacks, if we are able to do that. The semi-core will fire off a projectile attack that will stop that blue barrier. Oh, unfortunately, Eviona gets a tougher RNG. The 3 car is the one that we definitely do not want to see. It's the hardest. We have to reflect all 3 cars in rapid succession. And unfortunately, Eviona missed one of the cars, which causes him to face Valentine with an extra cycle. Oh, he does get his revenge, though. He does get the triple car and gets it good this time. Now Noobii, having finished off Valentine, is going to lose some wheels on that semi-core, and we're going to turn it into the whale core to take to the sky. With the whale core, we're going to be chasing down the warship, which is what Valentine arrived in on. So now here we have another one of those, kind of like an auto-scroller, but not really an auto-scroller. We're kind of stuck on this whale core here. We just got to keep fighting these minions as they keep spawning in. And eventually we'll get to the first mini-boss of this stage, which is the Red Sprite, everybody's favorite cowgirl. Eviona also on the same section now, doing their best to remove all those. And let's get a big yeehaw for the showing up of the Red Sprite. Red Sprite here will shoot out blue or yellow big missiles, bullets there. The main thing about this fight here with the Red Sprite is there'll be a lot of bullet sponges, or minions. We call them bullet sponges around here. We want to make sure we avoid dealing any damage to the bullet sponges and instead dealing all of our damage directly to the boss. Noobii finishing off that fight very quickly as Eviona is right behind. Gets a good deflection there to finish off that fight. This next section here is the drone section. These drones spawn in at a fixed location at a fixed time. So there's no RNG involved. Our runners know where everything's going to come from in this small section here, and able to handle it very well. Now we have the question mark that is the ninja. We don't know much about the ninja. We do know his attack style. So this first phase here, he's going to give us a couple of purple reflex attacks, followed up by one of those yellow thunder attacks. We want to avoid those lightning bolts on the thunder one and just reflect as much as possible. Phase 2 is a little different. Phase 2, he will start deflecting all of our pistol shots. So we need to switch to katanas at this phase, and there's 3 different attack variants that he can give us, all given off by a short auto cue. And before I can even get my explanation out, our runners are so fast that they're almost out of the way through the fight. Eviona just getting onto the second phase now, which will be lasting only a few more seconds. Noobii now into the final, not an auto-scroller, but still kind of like an auto-scroller section, going for the dual akimbo pistols here, shooting both the top and the bottom of the screen. He doesn't have access to the katana here, so he's just avoiding all the bullets that you see on the screen. Whereas Eviona will stick with the bullet katana combo, stick to the front, and just try to reflect as many purple bullets as possible. Our friendly rival there is going to take a hit from one of those missiles, drop down. We're going to use those missiles to get to our final boss of this stage, and that is Rex Rocket. Rex Rocket will shoot out either purple or yellow large missiles that, the purple ones we can deflect. You'll see bullet storm kind of like that. Those can be purple or yellow. And he'll shoot out a bunch of these green missiles here, which we just try to avoid generally. Noobii now looking to try to kill, yes, he gets it beautifully. We're trying to kill Rex Rocket while Ren is at the bottom of the screen. After this fight, Ren falls off to the screen, so if we can get her there quicker before the fight even is technically over, that just saves us a little bit of time there. Let's see if Eviona gets a good kill here, too. Dropping down low, using his triple dash. Oh, unfortunately, he jumps too soon. That's going to be a big time loss by Eviona there, unfortunately. He jumped a little too soon. Oh, and Noobii actually makes a little mistake. I think fatigue setting into both of our runners here by a little bit. But Noobii's time loss was not nearly as significant as Eviona's. Sorry, Noobii now is onto the first Warship Day boss, which is the Chat Spammer. Chat Spammer likes to throw out a bunch of space bills on the screen. We say no to drugs here, so we try to get rid of those space bills so we can do damage to the Chat Spammer themselves. Noobii does a great job of that and keeps on moving on into the actual true auto-scroller of our race. The auto-scroller section here, the camera will start very slow and accelerate the longer the auto-scroller goes on. The big key factor here for our races is to not take any damage on this section. Any damage that the runner will take here will actually reset the camera's acceleration back to its original point when the level started, and it is a significant time loss. So far, out of all 6 races now, none of our races have been hit once. I feel comfortable saying that for Noobii since he's done, and Eviona is just about at the last part of a section now. So beautiful auto-scrollers all the way through, all 6 races for both of our runners today. Noobii now going into the boss rush phase. The boss rush phase is a refight from a bunch of Bleed 1 bosses, the first one being the Robo-Guppy. Robo-Guppy gives us a couple of different attacks. He likes to spawn out these little smaller Robo-Guppies here that can shoot at us, or he'll try to just drop directly on top of us. We like it when he tries to drop directly on top of us. Not when he does that, though. There's 2 different variants of the dropping on top of us. He can drop on top of us and turn yellow, which we can't reflect, or he'll drop on top of us and turn purple. Both of our races look like they get in the yellows, unfortunately. Noobii now moving on to Gibby and Stu. Gibby and Stu are the kind of bird, kind of worm bosses. You'll see Noobii here doing kind of like a little dance here. Gibby and Stu will each be on the screen. Usually, almost always, except for the attack that Noobii just saw there, individually, one at a time. As one leaves the screen, the other one usually enters, so it's a little dance going back and forth between the 2. They do have that one attack where they both will be on the screen, they'll crisscross. Noobii's getting double of that. Really highlighting the inconsistencies of what I just described. Next up is Robo White. Robo White is big mean boss about him is that shield that he has. We can only do damage to the core itself. That outer shield there will block all of our pistols. We can, if we're close enough, get close and do some katana attacks that will pass beyond the shield. You'll also notice that it does sometimes throw up the shield at us and be purple or yellow. We actually don't want to reflect it if it is purple. We can do more damage because the core itself will stay outside of the shield during the time that it throws it at us. Noobii finished off that fight very well as Eviona is right behind him here. Noobii now going on to Robo Bunny here. Robo Bunny kind of brings back those space bills that we saw from the Chat Spammer. We like that attack. The other attack that she can give us, she can summon down a car that you can see on Eviona's screen right now, which is not as fun because we can't deflect the car back at her. So we really like the space bills when we try to fight Robo Bunny here. And Eviona getting a good fight there. Needs probably maybe about one more phase. Yep, we're going to get another space bill and finish that off. As Noobii heads further into the warship. Noobii now making their way towards the Segment Slider boss. Segment Slider is a very RNG heavy boss here. We call him the Segment Slider, as you'll see here in a few seconds. He breaks up into different segments. Kind of reminds you of that old Mega Man boss from Dr. Wily's stages, where segments will slide across, exposing the core, and it's the core right there on Noobii's screen that's going across that we actually do damage to. There's a few different variants of the attacks. We really want to see those middle segments, the middle 3 of them there. Ooh, that's a good reflect there by Noobii. Nice RNG there. But we really want to see those middle segments sliding out first. Once any of those 3 middle segments slide out, we can actually get good pistol damage. Eviona also getting a reflect in this fight. That is good for him as well. Noobii finishing off the Segment Slider now, going into the 0G section of the warship. Going to be 0Ging it right into the next boss fight, which is the Nemesis core, once he clears this room here. Eviona finishing off the Segment Slider now, getting ready to go into their own 0G section. the Nemesis core here, you want to look at that middle eye there. That middle eye will be a tell as to what bullets are going to come up. Ooh, that's a perfect, nice. Wow, Noobi's getting some great RNG on this Nemesis core one here. Lots of purple bullets coming out of that main core section, allowing for a good damage spike with the reflex. Let's hope Eviona gets that same RNG. Ooh, it's looking like the exact opposite, actually. That's a full 4 yellow for Eviona. That is unfortunate. Noobii now working on the Nemesis core Mark II. Phase 2, I'm sorry. This phase here, the Nemesis core has an armored shell. We'll need to either push its own bombs back on top of it to break that shell, or if it tries to attack us and turns purple, we can deflect it to deal damage to the shell itself. Noobii now just absolutely destroying Nemesis core 2. Eviona working on Nemesis core 2. Gets some good deflects in there, breaks off the armor shell Eviona does. As Noobii finishes off Nemesis core Mark II. And moving in to the final platforming stage of the warship, which is the rickety-rockety. The ship's going down. We've got sections of the ship breaking apart, sliding over, impeding our progress. We got this purple group just falling all over the place, trying to hamper our progress. But we want to make it to the anti-battalion. And we have, on Noobii's screen, made it to the anti-battalion. Anti-battalion is the last fight before the 2 final bosses of this game. Anti-battalion has multiple different forms that they can give us. Noobii's going to start off with some Purple Rain here. Purple Rain is one of the lower damage outputs that we can do. Bullets is right about middle ground if we get all the reflex in, which Noobii does. What we really want to see here is Pac-Mans. Unfortunately, Noobii's not seeing a single Pac-Man. Saw is arguably the second best form we can see here. You can put down a lot of damage while it's in Saw form. Eviona does get the Pac-Man, but unfortunately gets a yellow at the end. We want to really see a Pac-Man with a purple end. Pac-Man with the purple end there will allow us to reflect to do even more damage at the end. Noobii finishes off his anti-battalion without seeing a single. Eviona getting 2 Pac-Mans. Let's get this a purple Pac-Man. Unfortunately, though, 2 yellow Pac-Man. That's almost like RNG giving you, giving you the good okay, but then just taking it away at the last second by making those Pac-Mans yellow instead of purple. But Eviona has finished off their anti-battalion fight, and looking to take down the warship and escape to the showdown. Noobii now already making it back to the Whale Corps. That Whale Corps is going to provide a personal escort to the showdown with Valentine. Unfortunately, the people of Earth are still on Valentine's side. So we got to make a big grand display here, showing how much better we are than Valentine to get those people back on our side. First stage of Valentine here is that the bullet sponge section, where she'll just summon a lot of enemies to get on the screen, try to just annoy and hamper our races. Noobii's doing a good job of passing through them, trying to kill as little as possible, so that way they are constantly doing damage to Valentine. Eviona also on through the minion stage right now. Got Valentine at about half health. Noobii now into stage 2. Ooh, the Nat stage. Only gets 2, that's not too bad. Those are pretty good holes in the Nat lines there for Noobii. Didn't have to drop DPS really at all. And another good Nat section for him there. Sometimes the Nats will go on opposite ends, so the gaps in between them. That makes it very difficult. Noobii destroying Valentine before she can even grab the bazooka from her minion there. Moving on to stage 3. Stage 3 is where we're going to be looking at Noobii maybe possibly taking some hits or choosing to jump off the screen after this stage, set up a death skip. Between stages 3 and 4, Valentine has a small animation that from landing on the ground to rising up into the air, and if we kill ourselves at just the right time, we can actually reset our health bar and skip that whole death animation at the same time. So keep a close eye on Noobii's screen, as he'll be trying to do that very soon. You'll see him jump off the screen now, trying to take as much damage as possible. One more jump. Alright, now he's going to wait for Valentine just to rise. Perfectly timed. Nearly on the first frame available to him. The trick's always a little tricky. If you try to jump too early, there is a chance that you die before Valentine resurrects. And now Noobii is playing the trash block strat, where now that the people are on our side, we're using the people's junk to break Valentine's shield. And by timing our taunts precisely, we can lock Valentine to the point where she can't move. For another good example of that, Eviona is going to be trying that right now. Let's see how they do. Looks like they got the first lock in. Ooh, there's a little bit of a movement there. Got me a little worried, but Eviona looks like they got it. Gets the second one perfectly, and that's going to be a full stun lock Valentine for Eviona as well. So now that we've won the people's praise, they shower us with roses. We're going to go home, play some video games, relax, unwind after all. No. Looks like our rival's still jealous. Looks like he doesn't want us to play video games. No video game sesh for us. One more boss to beat, and then we can call it a day. First up here is a Mantis score. Noobii getting a quick Mantis head attack, but unfortunately that attack is yellow. We really want to see good RNG would make that attack purple and let us reflect it and do extra damage to him. Eviona now getting into the Mantis score fight. Still a very close fight. Might be outside the realm of bad RNG. I mean, it'd be some terrible RNG there if neither runner made any mistake for Noobii to lose this, but it's pretty much in their hands. As long as they don't make any critical errors here, he may have it. Eviona now going into the end of the Mantis score fight as Noobii gets his laser skip this time. Whalecore here. Whalecore is the next section. You see that Noobii is slowing down time at the start of this fight, just trying to keep Whalecore on the screen for as long as possible, trying to do the most damage. A lot of the damage here will come from reflecting these purple missiles, as Noobii does a great job demonstrating that. Eviona just finishes off with the laser skip there on the final platforming section of the game. And Noobii's looking to just finish off the Whalecore, trying to do it off screen here. Unfortunately, just barely misses it. And now with the little missile coming in, Noobii's going to be starting off his fight against the Spider Core. Eviona now getting that missile deflected in. Oh, unfortunately that's a lot of yellow missiles for Eviona. RNG has not been too kind to Eviona this run. And Noobii now, oh, unfortunately gets a yellow missile to start. We really want to see the Spidey Core shoot out a purple missile from its main maw there. Big old purple missile lets us deflect it and do a lot of damage back to the Spidey Core. But Noobii's doing a good job of... Ooh, another yellow missile. Ooh. I don't know. Is the game trying to make my words? They're giving Noobii some really bad... Oh, that would have been a third yellow missile, but Noobii finishes off quick. That might have been the worst Spider Core RNG I've ever seen. That was unfortunate. Eviona now, halfway down. Trying to get the last bits of Spider Core done as Noobii finishes off against the Crawling Core. Crawling Core here, we get to feature both of our runners do this new strat that has come out just a couple weeks ago. It's the Heidi Core strat. Ooh, nice job there by Noobii. So essentially what we want to do is hide behind the Crawling Core there, doing maximum amount of damage and constantly doing damage in this way. We can reset our jumps every time that bottom leg steps forward to keep us from taking damage. And you saw Noobii jump out, get the reflect, and jump right back in. Amazing, amazing Crawling Core fight there by Noobii. So, Eviona now starting off against their Crawling Core. You're going to see a similar strat here. Eviona was the one who found out on this stat and shared it with us on the Discord. And Noobii starting off his final rival fight. Rival fight here has two health bars, a yellow health bar and a red health bar. Gets a good reflection in there. We really want to get those reflections in against the rival, as if we do knock him down in those sword forms, he does get knocked on the ground. Same with the tennis match that you just saw on his screen there. Ooh, Noobii getting some nice final rival fight RNG here. Probably about the three best attacks in a row there from him. Unfortunately followed up this yellow katana attack is the worst attack. But Noobii wastes no time switching to katana and finishing off the fight. And that'll be a time of 23:19. Noobii is going to be the winner of the SABR Tournament and take the Grand Champion title. Eviona still has one health bar left on the rival here, finishing just behind here. So let's make sure we can get that second Sunday there on Noobii's screen. Eviona now just with about 30% health left on the rival here. Going to be finishing it up relatively quickly. Great races by both of our races today. Amazing. We've had 6 races today featured on Speed Gaming, and these racers came out and gave it their all. An amazing show from everyone. So, that looks like that'll do it for us today for our Bleed 2 SABR Tournament. I want to give a big thank you to everyone who came out and joined us for our Grand Finals match. I want to thank Noobii and Eviona for their race today. If you want, you should go over and give them a follow. Their Twitch handles are what you see on the screen there. They're amazing Bleed 2 runners and really just put on an amazing show for us today. I also want to give a special thanks to all of our other racers in the tournament who didn't make it to the Grand Finals. It was an amazing time casting the whole tournament with you guys. The tournament graphics and a lot of the headache-inducing administrative work were done by Jackus, so I want to say a special thank you to him. He did an amazing job with the graphics, scheduling, and everything. And just overall, good job, Jackus. Thank you so much. If you want to see more Bleed 2 races, make sure to check out BleedRunning channel on Twitch, or you can hop over to the BleedRunning on YouTube and check out all the past races, including the SABR Tournament. If you are interested in speedrunning the game yourself, make sure you join us over on the Bleed Speedrunning Discord. You can find the link right at the bottom of the overlay here. We are a friendly bunch, and we are always willing to help people learn. And with that, that'll do it for us today. Once again, I've been DudeCasey, and this was the Bleed 2 SABR Tournament. But before I go, once again, I'd like to give a special thank you to Speed Gaming for helping us show off this amazing game. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Toodles!